all in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
Broken dreams in my pocket. Golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, cause you caught it. You caught it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light at the young, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Hey, you're golden. You're golden. Hey, you're golden. Golden. Lay on the carpet, eye to eye, glistening. No, I saw it. I saw it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light at the young, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Hey, you're golden. You're golden. Hey, you're golden. Golden. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You know it. Yeah, you're glowing. Golden.
keep you right here beside me. I need to know I'm not alone. Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here. I need to know which way to go. Now take me home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here with you. In this moment here with you. In this moment here with you.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Yeah. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate.
and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. Here for rounds 15 and 16 of the Pro-Am season. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, joined in the commentary box by a very special guest tonight. It is Dan Davis, who is joining me live. Ben will be back at the Hungaroring. He won't be able to attend Laguna Seca. He messaged me earlier. So, Ben, we miss you. We'll see you at Laguna. But I am joined by Dan Davis tonight. Dan, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Matthew. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the next round of the season. And I'm doing very well, thank you. A bit of a disappointing drive I had last night, but either way, I'm looking forward to a great night's worth of racing here at the home of British motorsport. And what a circuit we come to now. An iconic track.
What a circuit we come to indeed. Like you say, the home of British motorsport. Had place and staged many an event, obviously a lot of Silverstone GT races, Formula One, World Endurance Championship comes here, as well as the bike racing that happens around this track. So a lot happens at Silverstone. It is such an iconic circuit in terms of British motorsport as a whole, especially over worldwide motorsport, and a track that we all know and love very well. Here in a very wet England, though, at the moment, because the track is damp. It's light rain at the moment, Daniel. It's a damp circuit out there. And as you figured out last night, obviously you got the experience last night in the Amateur League, that Silverstone seems a little bit of a tricky circuit to drive on in the wet.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a tricky circuit. It's not the easiest, but I don't think I had the tools and equipment on my side, if that makes any sense. But I do love a wet weather race. I enjoy most of my races in the wet. I think I'm quite good in the wet conditions. But for these guys, it's definitely a circuit to keep an eye on. The curbs are going to be lethal as well. I found that out. If you want to try and touch the curbs, they are very, very tricky to put any form of tyre compact on them, because the car just wants to skate off and lose control. But at the minute, we have got a damp setting, so they have got it a little bit easier than the guys had last night. But fast, flowing circuit, and I'm currently on board with Fate Silent, and in that Mercedes, I think that this car could be one to keep an eye on. Big power, a lot of straights for it, and yeah, it's definitely a circuit I think that the big engined cars will be looking good at if they can put the power down in these wet conditions.
And I'm so glad you mentioned the Mercedes there, Dan, because you think back to the very, very first ever SimPlay Motorsport race nearly 3 years ago to the day. It was a Mercedes-Benz, a Peaceful Explosion, that took the very first ever Pro win. It was Welch's Lamborghini that won in Pro-Am, but it was the Pro win of Peaceful Explosion that took the very first win in a Mercedes-Benz, and the famous pass down the Wellington Straight. Obviously, Project Cars to ACC, a little different on its wet weather physics. Project Cars, you have to be a little more cautious on the throttle. You do have to be cautious on this, but puddles seem to form in bigger clumps on Project Cars, and it made the Wellington Straight a little unpredictable. And I remember Little Eats just sort of skating slowly down the Wellington Straight, and Mike thought, nah, I'm not having none of this. I'm going to go full beams down it and see what we can do. But X-Fate, a man to watch out for. Speaking of other men to watch out for, Louis Allen, currently in the pits. He leads the championship, but he hasn't won a single race. There is 153 championship points up for grabs for the Drivers' Championship tonight. There is already 5 drivers that cannot win it. We'll get to those in a moment. But Louis Allen leads the way by 28 points from Exis Tibbs. Or we're just going with Tibbs recent days, or Agent Tibbles, as he's been started to be called. He's in P2 in the championship, 28 points behind Sekulovic, who currently looks good out there. He's P3 at the moment, 43 off the championship lead. A man who's won 4 races in the wet this season, Sooty Apex, is 49 points off the championship lead. But Smokey Devil, in recent weeks, Dan, has seemed to come to the front of the pack. He sits P5 in the championship in a BMW that I didn't expect to do a lot.
This BMW is a very tricky car to get right, especially on this game, and we know for a fact that the M4 on the newer generation games is a lot better than the old one, and obviously because we ain't got it on the old generation, the M6 is then the option, and this M6 is not ideal at all. It's a very tricky car to set up and get right, but in Smokey Devil's hands, it seems to be working very well. But again, everybody has their own suit of style to cars. Let's take myself and you example as a Matt. Myself, I like a rear end that likes to move around and twitch around a bit, while you like a more stable car and do more of the work on the front of the chassis than rather the rear. So I think for Smokey Devil, even though it was a questionable choice, he's definitely suited to that BMW, and he's really starting to show his pace there.
He is really starting to show his pace in it. P6 in the championship. He's not here tonight. He's Noza kart champ. Actually in talks with another driver already for season 3. So it's great to see teams already starting to maybe form next season. Argent then runs in P7 at the minute. The other Bentley driver out there who's currently stopped on the track. He's 76 points off the championship lead before Bryn. And me and Ben Nexus described Bryn's recent run of form since Brands Hatch as really remarkable. He's came to the front, he started to challenge for more podiums, and as you saw in the highlights at the beginning of the programme here, the race 2 of Bryn last week, majority of the highlights was him because he was on the move quite a bit. Bryn's a man since Brands Hatch, Dan, who looks like he's starting to find a bit of form and rhythm.
Yeah, definitely so. And with the Lexus as well, it's very much like the Bentley and the Mercedes, where the engine's at the front. A lot of the grip is generated more from the front end of the car rather than the rear. And yeah, I think Brent's just take time to get used to the car. The problem with most of these drivers is they keep swapping and changing cars from each season. If they stuck to one car, they'll be able to learn it and master it and able to perform at their best. As an example, again, Matt has obviously just stayed in the Bentley consistently. He knows how it runs, he knows how to drive it, and now he's at the top of his form in the pro category because he knows how to run his machine. Indeed
we do. So Bryn's P8 at the moment, 89 points off the back. PM Motorsport, who will hopefully be here for race 2, he says, is currently P9 before Daz Automatic. He's looking quick out there at the moment. He's P10 and rounds out the top 10, 100 points off the back. Hypertech, who took a podium the other week, first time out for him. He's currently sitting in P11, 104 off the championship leader. Before DJ Phil up in 6th place at the moment is P12. X-Fate silent then, he's in P13 with Max Mulder after his 25-point deduction due to 3 retirements, down in 14th place. Smithy, every season we see Smithy and he gives it a good go. He's one of the guys that isn't too bothered about what result he gets. He's here to enjoy himself and take it as good as he can. If he gets a good result, it's a bonus. Sitting P15 in the championship, and for Smithy, ACC a lot harder than Project Cars for him on the pad, but he's still enjoying his race and he's still coming out there week in, week out and pumping in good results.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. Although, like I said, the wheel doesn't the wheel more suits to this kind of game and design. But Smithy is giving it his best shot, and it's nice to see him in a Porsche, one of my personal favourite cars. And yeah, it's just an all-round good guy. He tries and stays out of trouble and just gets the points where he needs to. And whoever does ever partner up with him, they know they're going to have a solid teammate throughout the season.
Yeah.
So Smithy, he's just going to take a little bit of time, find a little bit of a nice setup for the pad, and I'm sure Smithy will be back to his winning ways when he did at Zolder on Project Cars.
Well, look at that. He's currently 2.1 seconds quicker than Monkey Boy. Speaking of Monkey Boy, he's P16 in the championship. We've not seen Monkey Boy for a while, who just goes into P9 as I say that. We've not seen Monkey Boy for a while, but he's back this week, 91 points for him. No Mordecai at this moment in time, so he will be P17 in the championship. Lucas Roth, a.k.a. Keegs, in his pink Lamborghini, pink Porsche, and another Porsche on the grids. It's great to see Keegs return and enjoy his racing. He was on the podium last time out at Zandvoort, a kid that is very, very quick on his day.
Oh, definitely. So I know for a fact that the F2 season we had, Matt, I was partnered with Keegs, and when Keegs really does put his head into the game and he knows exactly what he's doing, then he can be one of the fastest guys on track. But he does race karting from time to time, so he knows how a car should feel and handle. So especially in this Porsche 911, I think he should be able to control this beast, especially in wet conditions. I believe Welshie sometimes sends them out on slick tyres, even though it's raining. So
yeah, I believe that's the story that's been told, isn't it?
Good old weather in Scotland, you know, it's always raining there more than the rest of the country.
Indeed it is. AKA Fix on his P19, not here tonight, and Dean Wasaki enjoying his lovely holiday. At the moment he's P20 in the championship, so that is the drivers. What about the constructors? Well, just say as well, Monkey Boy, Mordecai, Keegs, AKA Fix and Dean Wasaki cannot win the championship. Depending on race 1 results, Max Mulder and Smithy will be out of that running also. The constructors, though, looks a little like this. There's 6 constructors in it at the moment, and there's 6 constructors that can still win it, Titan Aura Racing lead the way, which is Daz and Louis Allen of SRL Pink McLaren Racing of Tibbs and Max Mulder. 67 points is that gap, and can mathematically not win the championship tonight. I thought they could, but that was the flying potatoes from last night. Dynaco Racing are on 296. They're third of Monkey Boy and Sutty Apex. East and West Motorsport, DJ Phil and PM Motorsport, they are in P4. 294 is their points. 4 then back to front racing of Smithy and Argent. They are on 282. An MBR Racing team of Mordecai and Bryn on 249. There is 291 points left up for grabs in that one. And can anybody take some points tonight and take some glory? In terms of the Manufacturers' Championship, it's pretty much been dominated by one car and one car only. That is the car that has 3 of them in the top 4 at the moment, and it is the McLaren. And this is based off of any of the manufacturers, so it doesn't matter whether it was 650 or the 720S McLaren, it would all go down as McLaren. 1,816 points. And bearing in mind, the Manufacturers' Championship this season was spread between Pro, Pro-Am and Amateur, so it was added all together. They have won that championship. Bentley are 307 points clear of Ferrari in second place. Bentley can confirm second place tonight because there is 3 of them and only the one Ferrari, so you can get enough points in front to secure that spot. Ferrari are third with Lexus P4, and it's really been the work of Camel. But of recent weeks, Shane's podium last week, Fury's win last week, or double podium last week, and Brin's recent form that has pushed Lexus into that P4 spot in this manufacturer's table.
Love the Lexus. Love it.
Yeah.
Great car. A very underrated car as well. And with the boys finding finally some decent setups and getting their grips to the car. We knew Camel had pace in the car. But for the likes of Brin tonight, has finally found his feet with this car. And I think a lot of these guys have now learned that pure one-lap pace isn't everything. It's all about setting the car up to be able to go endurance racing, to do half an hour, because that's what you're asking for. You do one qualifying and that's it. So I think now the guys are starting to find that sweet spot with the Lexus, get it into its happy zone, and once it's there, the car is going to be like that for most of the race. So it's nice to see the Lexus finally push it forward, and it's nice to have a different manufacturer, especially when project cars, we were so used to the Mercedes, the Porsche, the Lamborghini, all being at the top. It's finally nice to have a Japanese manufacturer really giving it a go with the top guys.
And the other thing to notice with that as well, Dan, is I think that it's great to see a car that, you know, a lot of people don't pick and don't tend to choose, because it's you think of likes of Lamborghini, Bentley, Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche, Mercedes. Lexus kind of name gets lost within all them big giants of GT racing. Porsche, though, a P5 with Honda in P6. Aston Martin not far off the back of them. Audi in P8, BMW a P9 before Mercedes just ahead of the Nissan, the Retia, the Lamborghini, and then the Jaguar. Rounding out the Manufacturers' Championships. In terms of statistics for tonight, Mordecai, Max, X-Fate and Sekulovic have a qualifying ban, but Mordecai isn't here, and I believe, from what I am reading on Discord, I don't think Max will make race 1. So he should make race 2, but he's on a qualifying ban, so we'll have to serve that one, provided he does make the race. Obviously, if his car's broken down, he may not feel like racing tonight if he's got to walk a long way home. So 4 drivers at the moment on a qualifying ban, or 3 at the moment on a qualifying ban. Brin, race 2 for Brin will be his 150th race here at SimPlay Motorsport, which is fantastic to see from him. If McLaren win one of the 2 races tonight, that'll be their 50th race win. If McLaren get pole, that'll be its 49th pole position, which means one of the McLarens tomorrow could get pole position number 50. And if Argent, who we're watching at the moment, gets 1 podium tonight, he will have his 50th podium at SimPlay Motorsports. That is all the stats, that is all the facts up to date. We're ready to go racing in 8.5 minutes time. Dan, pick your brain for this track. Out of the cars that are out there at the moment, which one do you feel suits the track and the conditions at its best?
Oh, God. That's a tricky one, because there's 3 that I have in mind that can really benefit from this circuit. Obviously, the main one that we all know has been very, very dominant this season has been the McLaren 720S. With its high downforce setup and the way the car is designed, it really does well in the downforce section. So sector 1, where you have to hit Copse, Maggots and Beckett's into Chapel, I think this car's very good in that sector, and it's able to keep the downforce down and keep the car controlled in these wet conditions. But then you've got the Bentley. The Bentley will come strong in the second sector, where it's a little bit slower and you really need that grunt and power. And I think the Bentley will benefit from that sector. And then you've got the Ferrari as well, another all-round good car. I think the Ferrari is definitely a car to keep an eye on as well. So I think really between those 3, we could see any one of those drivers in any of those cars really taking it to it. But don't discount the Lexus, nor the Porsche, and especially that Mercedes. In a straight line, that Mercedes is going to be strong. The few cars I think are going to struggle is possibly the Honda and the BMW, even though Smokey's proving me wrong at the minute. But I think the Honda especially will struggle tonight, as Louis he's doing a Colin Turkington this season. He's just going out there scoring every single point. It's a pointsy season for him, and I think Colin Turkington won a championship by only winning one race. We still haven't finished the season yet.
We haven't, and I was just about to touch on Louis Allen there, is how remarkable a season it has been. His best result has been second place. If you actually look at his lowest result in the championship this season, it's only had one 11th place. Apart from that, he's not been out the tops 8 any other time. But there's been, 3 fourth places. There's been a couple of fifths. There's been 3 times he's been in second place. 4 times he's been in second place this season. Is it it's obviously the consistency of Louis Allen that has kept him leading this championship, but has it been as well where others have tripped up each other and had them bad races, that because he's been so consistent, he's able to have that 20-odd point gap at the top of the championship at the moment?
Well, you know as well as I know, Matt, that obviously the three classes that we have are very different from one another. AM is a variety of different abilities, and then you've got Pro-Am, which are very similar drivers. You've got some that are at the top end of just sneaking into Pro, and then you've got the bottom end that are just sitting in the AM category. And I think you've got those drivers who are trying to push their way through and prove themselves to be quick enough for the Pro, and they make those mistakes. Then you've got the guys at the bottom end who are desperate to show that they deserve to be in this group. And Louis Allen's just sitting there minding his own business. When people make a mistake, he capitalises, he keeps his nose clean, he doesn't get involved in incidences, and he's just grinding those points in bit by bit. He scores the points when he's needed, and others are making too many mistakes. So I think Louis Allen is really putting on a proper championship form here that most of these guys in the Pro will need to keep an eye on, because he is just consistent. He's just there scoring the points. So and he's just improved to go P6.
And I think it's hats off to the way the Hondas have been set up this season, because we've seen in recent weeks of at times in the Pro with Emplava and Peaceful Explosion, excuse me, that the Honda's not been a slouch this season, and we know the Acura, aka the Honda, got a lot of stick on Project Cars 2 for the car it was. But on ACC, it does seem a bit of a better car, and it is one of the cars that you possibly don't shun as much as you did on Project Cars 2. You kind of are sort of tempted to maybe give it a try a bit more.
Well, on Project Cars 2, it's very much a downforce car and chassis car. It was not about the power. It didn't have the grunt to go with it. So for the likes of tight, twisty circuits, we found that the Acura on Project Cars was so much stronger in the tight, twisty tracks. But when you then came to the big circuits like Silverstone, Monza, Spa, the one that really required downforce, really required power, the Honda just lacked in that. And I think with this one on here on ACC, especially next year's calendar, we got a big calendar with very strong circuits, and it's very good in the intercontinental tracks, the likes of Bathurst and Suzuka and stuff like that. It's a good car for that bracket of car, and I think you might see a lot of people possibly toying and playing with the Honda next season. But it's definitely a circuit that suits more slow speed corners, and I think the Hungaroring will definitely suit this car.
One thing to note as well is this testament to ACC? Now, we know that ACC was developed as a game or as a simulator around the GT World Challenge Series, so around the championship that these cars are based off. In this game, we have the BOP, the balance of performance. Is it down to that ACC factor of having that balance of performance that makes cars like the Lexus, like the Honda, like cars like that, have the opportunity to be as good as a McLaren, as good as a Lamborghini, as good as a Porsche?
I personally don't feel like it has. In my opinion, I do like a new car. I like to play around with the weirder cars. For a fact, Matt, that I will happily play around with any sort of car. Something different, In my opinion, I still think those cars lack in certain areas. They may be level playing field on one circuit, but another circuit they're still behind by quite a bit. So I still think that there is obviously a balance that needs finding, so that all cars are relatively the same. But you're going to have that in any world championship, any form of championship other than single categories. There is always going to be one car that's dominant throughout the season. Look at Red Bull in F1. It's such a dominant car, and they've just done a better job. And it's the same in British touring cars. I know not many people will watch British touring cars, but you have the Ford at the minute that's just unstoppable. It's just taken 3 wins at Croft, so it's a very good car, and I think the rest of the guys either have to learn to drive their cars, tweak the cars to find the best setup, And yeah, again, it's just down to driver preference. But I do think it's nice to see a variety of different cars. The Honda next season, I do think, will be a stronger competitor than it is now.
One thing to say just before the practice ends is I do notice on this game or simulator a lot more than Project Cars is that a lot of cars on Project Cars you always had that you had three dominant cars, which was the Mercedes, the Lamborghini, the Porsche, and it didn't matter on the circuit if you set it up right and gelled with it, you could find the pace in anything. We didn't think Overtake would be that good on certain tracks, but he'd blow us away because he practiced and set the car up. Do you feel that with this game, even when you get your setup bang on, you still feel like you're lacking to other cars? You obviously have experience from the Pro last season where you nailed certain tracks and you felt you got the best out of the car. But, for example, De Silva's McLaren, my Bentley, Overtaker's McLaren, sometimes had an upper hand being naturally good at that circuit.
Yeah, and that's where you go on and talk about the level of performance with these cars. There is always going to be a circuit where one car will be stronger than the other. So let's take Paul Ricard as an example. My Lamborghini last season was very strong there, but I, as a driver, wasn't very good at Paul Ricard. I didn't enjoy the circuit, didn't like the circuit, and I struggled. So that's why I didn't actually end up getting the points I wanted. So I think, yes, it definitely, each car suits different circuits. Like the Bentley is very much a Zandvoort circuit. It suits Zandvoort very well. Silverstone, very much McLaren. It's got the downforce, it's got the high-speed corners, and I think Monza would suit the Retia or the Mercedes, you know, a lot of straights and not a lot of corners. So, again, there is that balance of what car suits where. It's just trying to find the right car that suits everything. And at that minute, that one car is way out in front, and it is the McLaren 720 at the minute.
It is the McLaren 720. Want to take Nodzo to Smoky Devil, currently sat P3, and Argent, who's currently tenths off the bike. In fact, the top three separated by just over a tenth and a half. Fourth place of Argent, though, in his Bentley. When you look at Sutty and Monkey Boy, over a second behind the leaders for Argent to be 3/10 off the bike. Now, all right, there is then the good old argument of, well, what's the fuel load that they're running? Are they on a race run? Are they on a low fuel run, a mid fuel run? We don't get this information. We don't know this information. But you have to give credit to Argent there, 3/10 off the back. Come the end of practice, he's still on a lap time as well, so could improve further. But it looks good for Argent early doors.
Yep, definitely so. The Bentley's looking planted, looking stable. It looks like he's able to run the curbs, which it always does. The other benefit as well, I know for a fact that Sutty and Monkey Boy have been toying and playing around with different tyres, because at the minute, the only thing we do know is the track temperature and track conditions. At the minute, we've got a 1 kilometre wind direction, and we've also got the track temperature is currently at 26 degrees, air temperature is 20, and the current condition of the track is set to damp. So Sutty and Monkey Boy have been toying around with the slick tyre, but I think it's not even worth trying. It's mainly wet conditions right now.
It is mainly wet conditions. The track will obviously get better the more cars that go around it, but while ever there's that light rain around, you feel that it's not going to improve massive amounts. But if you are new to SimPlay Motorsport and don't know what Sutty Apex is like, this is just a typical Sutty Apex move, isn't it? It's a crazy move where he's going to try any tyre he can get his hands on.
Definitely so, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Sutty send it at some point on a slick tyre tonight. I mean, let's go back to Project Cars 2. A while back, we saw that we went to, was it Sugo?
Yeah.
We went to Sugo, and all of us lads, including myself, where I was in my prime Porsche days, and we were going out for qualifying. All of us went out on the wets, and Sutty risked it with the slicks, and he gone and put it second. So the front
if I
row
remember rightly as well,
in the Honda.
If I remember rightly as well, me and Kelly was on commentary at the time, and Sutty missed out on pole because he just couldn't get the traction through that final long right-hander. You just saw a bit of a wiggle, so possibly could have been on pole position that day. Right, we're in our minute session then, so that we can get our broadcast duty set back up. So when this session ends, we should be able to return to the garage and get back into the pit lane for the correct camera angles. But the poll is up in the chat. Now, if you are wondering why we're not speaking in the chat as much tonight, we are trying a new method here, as well as a bit of a rehearsal for Dan Davis, as we are trying to create this as more of a show, more of a production, instead of more of a YouTube stream. We are hoping to get something out of this in terms of a production as a channel, and obviously something for Dan to rehearse and audition and learn for. But we do acknowledge that everybody is in there. Please keep your comments coming in. The polls will still go as normal, and currently that poll has Daz and Smoky Devil as tied for the race winner. Now, polls and stats like this are all interesting to see, because it's interesting to get an audience opinion of who's going to win this race. The audience at the moment are split between the McLaren and the BMW. Sekulovic was in the same vote, only got 15% of the votes. Tibbs was the other driver who had more votes than Sekulovic. Sekulovic had more pace. Does this go back to the fact of, one, we don't know what fuel strategy they're running. Two, we don't know if there's more time in the bank, whether they had traffic to hold them up or what.
I think, yeah, it's you go by who's fastest in the session. It's very easy, much to do so, but you can't just base it on that. You do have to think, okay, what fuel runs are they doing? Are they doing low fuel? Are they doing high fuel? Majority of the guys will be doing a high fuel run, but they do fancy just, you know what, I think I can go a little bit faster. Let's just dump the fuel. Let's put some good brakes on, fresh set of tyres. Let's see what we can actually do in the car. So you take it with a pinch of salt, and you kind of figure out who is where just based on race one. But I do think the McLarens and the Bentleys are going to be the ones to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the McLarens and the Bentleys to keep your eyes on there then. If you had to pick a race winner, Daniel?
I'm going to go with Argent on this one.
Okay, so you're going to go Argent. I like to be different. I'm going to go the way of... You know what, I'm going to go, I feel Tibbs. I'm feeling Tibbs tonight for some reason, so we'll see what Tibbs can do. The grid order, though, we will read to you momentarily. As the track, Daniel, just interesting to note, over the hour from qualifying to the race, the track has changed to wet. So that running of no running within the hour, so the way ACC works, if you press this down arrow, you get the lovely track map there. The free practice session was set to 11 a.m. The qualifying is 1 minute at 12 p.m. The race then starts at 1. So it's been 2 hours since that free practice has ended. The track has changed to wet conditions. Now this is very vital in this race. The grid order, though, should be taking place at the moment. It should be Lucas Roth, who is P1, and indeed it is. From him should be Monkey Boy. We can see in the background that is the case. Smithy in P3. Before X-Fate's DJ Phil, Hypertech is then the car behind Phil. Yes, he is. Then it's Daz Automatic, Bryn, Argent. I believe we did have Argent in the correct position. As the camera's just going to pick him up, we can then check the rest of the grid. Behind Kieran Argent should be Smoky Devil, then Sooty Apex, which it was. It should then be Sekulovic behind Sooty Apex. And we're just going to wait for them to get onto this. We can see the camera angle. There is Sekulovic, there is Tibbs, there is Louis Allen. So it's great stuff from the Pro-Am boys. They're already in grid order, and we can get ready to go in this race. Argent for Dan's pick, Tibbs for mine,
Wow.
But it's Lucas Roth who starts on pole.
Well, I actually want to retain that. Now I've seen the grid order in the correct order. I'm actually going to go with Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy for race win.
Interesting. Now, there is a way we can see who is on the slick tyres. Dan, I don't know if you want to go through and just check one driver to see if he's on the slicks, because we know Sooty's forgetful. If he's not checked that track condition before the race, you won't be able to get it back in return to garage till after, but I mean,
He is on wets.
he's on wet, so he has changed his order.
To the garage.
Yeah, that's fine. We're not on, obviously, broadcast ends on my end, so that's fine for that. So Sooty did check the temperature. He is on wet. Did he open his brake ducts? That was a conversation they was having. Right then, so we're coming down the national pitch straight. We're about to go racing for the first time tonight. It is round 15 and 16 tonight. And it is going to be an absolute fantastic race. Silverstone, the home of British motor racing. And it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic race. 5.8 kilometres, 3.6 in miles with 18 corners. And Dan, I believe you had the GT lap record.
I do have the GT actual proper world record in the GT3s, and that is held by a Lamborghini Huracan Evo, a GT3, and that was driven by Sandy Mitchell in 2022, and the lap time was a 1:56.765. But obviously that is the dry conditions. What we're looking for here roughly tonight in these conditions for these guys is a 2:07 time in the kind of damp cooler conditions, and then obviously when we get into these wet conditions, we're possibly looking at more the 209s, 210s is what the AM boys were doing, but obviously these boys are slightly quicker, so we should be seeing a little bit quicker times.
We should be seeing a little bit quicker times. And have we seen the track conditions? It has just changed to damp. So it couldn't have got too wet because on the formation lap, the 14 drivers have got it to go to damp conditions. We come into Brooklands and Luffield. And for race 15 of the Pro-Am season, the championship is coming towards an end. Laguna Seca and Hungaroring after this season. Obviously, Elton Park in the Porsche Cup will be back on Sunday night. They're out of Luffield now towards Woodcote. For the 15th time this season, we are about to go racing. Keegs, a.k.a. Lucas Roth, he backs the pack up. And we are going to get this race start initialised very, very soon. I noticed on the Amateur League last night that the leader didn't back the pack up too well. They went on the apex of Cops. Has Keegs done a good job this time? Race start initialised, not just yet from race control. It is now, and we are green and go here for the race 15 of the season. It is a good start from Lucas Roth in towards Cop's corner as Monkey Boy follows him right behind. Then you've got Smithy and DJ Phil with X-Fate Silent side by side with DJ Phil. Looks like there's chaos in the background. Plenty of cars stationary at turn 1. Sooty Apex was involved. I can see car 12 as Smithy drifting through Maggots in towards Beckett's for the first time. X-Fate's looking around the outside of DJ Phil, and this could be a cracking move if he gets it done towards Chapel and the Hangar Straight. Where is X-Fate Silent? Still side by side with DJ Phil as they come down the Hangar Straight now. We'll get to set 1 to be able to see these timings change, but X-Fate has got DJ Phil done. Now DJ Phil has to defend from Smoky Devil, who is now looking up the inside into Stowe, and a cracking opening lap. Smoky Devil, job done up another place. It's Lucas from Monkey Boy, Smithy, X-Fate, Smoky Devil, DJ Phil, then it's Sekulovic. Argent runs P6 at the moment before Louis Allen's going to try and go around the outside into Club. Can't get it done there. Sekulovic though on the inside of Club gets DJ Phil. They bump doors a little bit, but Sekulovic is through. Smokey's looking on X-Fate. After Louis Allen, it is then Tibbs, Daz, Sooty Apex, Bryn and Hypertech, and Daz looks like he's already been caught up in an incident. But look at Tibbs trying to get past Louis Allen as he had a mistake on the exit. Job done. Oh! And Hypertech bounces off the curb and he's round on the exit of Club. Dan, it's been a hectic start to this race.
It was Bryn, Hypertech and Sutty who got involved in turn 1 at Cops. They really tripped over one another and it's really affected them. So Sutty is dropped down the order. Smithy is holding his own in the other Porsche. He's sticking right onto the back of Monkey Boy, who's just dropping off the back of Lucas Roth. So Lucas Roth out in clean air on his own with no trouble so far. Monkey Boy doing the job of holding everybody up, but relatively clean at the front. But a lot of guys taking track limits. They're really testing these curves right now. Smoky Devil looks to try and make a move on Smithy there, but thinks better of it. But we do have a car wide. That is Fate Silent in the Mercedes, and he's just missed the apex by a mile.
He got past Smithy. He's rejoined straight into the side of Phil. He's got to keep it still now while everybody comes through. He got past Smithy and missed his apex. So at the end of lap 1, it is Lucas Roth from Monkey Boy. Smithy hanging on to Smoky Devil. You got to be a brave man to overtake at Cops. Smoky has a little cheeky look. Smithy gets the Porsche sideways, and he's done it all season and manages to hang on to that place. Sekulovic is still there in the background, but Smoky fancies a piece of Smithy. We saw a brilliant overtake at Maggots and Beckett's last night, and Smoky gets a great move on Smithy through Maggots into Beckett's, and that is job done, Smoky Devil. Smithy's coming back at him though, Dan.
Yeah, he's not going to do it here, though. That BMW looks very planted through Chapel there, and he gets the job done. It's now Sekulovic on the outside of Smithy. Smithy just being mugged left, right, and centre by all sorts of cars. So he's now been done by the McLaren. It's now the Bentley of Argent, the 52 Bentley, coming up behind the Porsche of Smithy in the 991, but he just can't quite do it. He's just gone very wide, touching the white line and just allowing his car to drift out to the exit. But Smithy hasn't really gained that much advantage. Meanwhile, while all this has been going on, Monkey Boy has brought the gap back down to Lucas Roth. Race leader is struggling with the Bentley breathing down his neck, and Smoky Devil flying in the BMW right behind them.
He really is, and Argent and Smithy teammates in this, obviously like normal GT racing in the real world, teammates don't have to drive the same car, so they're in the same team, and it will be Argent who will not want to hit the rear end his teammates in this one, especially while Smithy currently running P5. Pit window will be open in 6.5 minutes, and Monkey Boy, is he going to have a look up the inside of Lucas Roth in towards Village, doesn't get the move done as they come towards the loop. A very easy section to defend from the car behind, but it is Lucas. Monkey Boy who taps the rear of Keegs, gets a tap from Smoky Devil, and and it all stays line of stern at the moment through the loop into Aintree, and it's Monkey from Smokey, Sekulovic on the back of them now, with Argent up the inside at Aintree on his teammate Smithy. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. First one of the night. He's now got Tibbs to worry about as down the Wellington straight they come. In the background is DJ Phil, Daz, Sutty Apex and Louis Allen with X-Fate and Bryn in the background, and Tibbs can't get the move done at the moment.
Louis Allen has lost places. He was in P9. He's dropped behind Daz and Sati. I'm not sure exactly how, but he has dropped places as Argent's made a mistake, and that's allowed Smithy back through. And Tibbs had a big wiggle and was unable to make any do of the Bentley, and now Tibbs is now stuck behind Argent this time. Smithy is now trying to extend that gap, and there's a train behind DJ Phil as Daz Automatic is looking for a move through there, but it's still Lucas Roth who's pulling away from Monkey Boy, and Smokey Devil and Sekulovic is right on the rear wing of the Bentley of Monkey Boy.
They are indeed, as the Bentley rides the curbs well through Maggots and Beckett's. Monkey Boy using all of them. Smokey just seems to have a little wiggle through Beckett's there, which has put Sekulovic right onto the rear wing of that BMW as they come through Chapel now. The McLaren just look to have the better straight line speed down the hangar, better corner speed through Maggots and Beckett's down the hangar straight. We drop back to Argent now, who's got past Smithy, and Louis Allen looking to put Sutty Apex under pressure, who's going to get kind of boxed in by the two teammates here of the Titan Aura Racing team of Daz and Louis Allen. Down the hangar straight they come. Sutty up the inside at Stowe, can't get it done, does well not to collect the back of Daz there, and Louis Allen's Honda just couldn't get past the Bentley, well wide though on the exit.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling in the dirty air of the Bentley, and he can't seem to find a way through at the minute, but his teammate is backing him up. They did have DJ Phil in front of them, but he then lost it in Maggots and Beckett's, so now they haven't got DJ Phil in the Aston Martin to worry about. Meanwhile, these lot are too busy scrapping when the Smithy is backing Tibbs right up into this group of three, making it a five-way fight at the minute. Tibbs going to send it down the inside of Abbey, and I think he might have got the job done as the camera's just changed for me. So it looks like Tibbs has got the job done around the outside as they head into farm and then into village. But now Daz is down the inside of the hairpin. That's going to be an easy move for him.
It is indeed. I thought he was going straight to the side of Tibbs there, but he managed to get it stopped. Smithy back up the inside through the link, and they'll have that inside line for Aintree, and Smithy determined to keep as many places as he can. Stays ahead of Daz. Daz has got to do it again. He gets an almighty run through. Look at Sutty's run! The momentum of the Bentley through Aintree, down the Wellington straight, pull side by side with Daz. Is he going to get it side by side with Smithy though? In towards Brooklands and Luffield. 2 into 1. Thank you very much. Sutty though goes deep, and Daz comes back at him. Contact between the McLaren and the Bentley.
Meanwhile, Monkey Boy's under some immense pressure. Sekulovic has dropped out off the back of these guys, but Smokey Devil sent it up into Brooklands and couldn't quite get it stopped, so he went wide. Monkey Boy is just hanging into P2 as he goes very wide through Cops, but Lucas Roth is just keeping it cool and maintained up front, but he's not pulling away. Monkey Boy is putting on a heck of a defensive drive because Smokey and Sekulovic were all over the back of him.
Oh, Sutty's lost it on the exit of Cops as X-Fate and him made contact side by side. Louis Allen has now got back past of X-Fate Silent, and Bryn gets past as well. Bryn's now on the back of Louis Allen. Sutty's now down behind DJ Phil in 13th place. Hypertech way behind at the moment, but a few little incidents so far as Smokey's attacking further up front outside of Stowe. You got to be brave to get it done around there. Just taps the back of Monkey Boy and loses a bit of momentum. They both do. This could allow Sekulovic to come back onto the rear. They're squabbling, and still Keegs isn't able to pull away out front though at the moment. Down a cracking pro-am battle early on in this 3 laps we've only had, but it's great racing so far.
Yeah, definitely so. Smokey Devil really needs to start learning where this Bentley is strong and weak, because he's just not being able to outsmart Monkey Boy at the minute. Monkey Boy's Bentley is big and wide, and it's the most difficult car to get past. He's going to go around the outside of Abbey. He gets the job done.
That is a fantastic move from Smokey Devil around the outside. Monkey Boy now has Sekulovic attacking him, who defends the inside line as they come through farm. Oh, Sekulovic taps the rear of Monkey Boy, and off he goes. Can he rejoin? Argent's coming round. He has to be careful there. He rejoins side by side with his former Constructors Champion winner of Argent, back in Season 2 of Project Cars, and Monkey Boy down to P4. Meanwhile, back down the pack, Louis Allen has got Bryn attacking the rear end of him. Bryn had to really slam on the anchors here. Louis Allen's gone wide though, out the loop, and he's got Bryn up the inside at Aintree, and Bryn through wide on exit onto the grass. Here comes Louis Allen. Here comes X-Fate Silent. It could be 3 wide. It is 3 wide as they come down the Wellington straight. Bryn's just in front of X-Fate and tries around the outside of Louis. Bit of contact made. Tries to keep it there and loses possibly out to X-Fate into Luffield. He has lost out to X-Fate at the end of that one.
Yeah, as I just keep an eye on the leaders, and now with Lucas Rock leading the way, Smoky Devil's now got clean air. What can he do about the Porsche? Can he get past Keegs, as Keegs will be determined to win this one, as Smoky Devil in second, looking good in that BMW. But then you've got the two Bentleys of Monkey Boy and Argent still within reach, and then you've got the two McLarens of Tibbs in 6th and 7th. Smoky Devil still wanting to hunt down and pass Lucas Rock as quickly as he possibly can, but Sekulovic is going with him.
Skulovic is going with him. They seem to have dropped Monkey Boy at the minute because he's got Argent for company. Just watching X-Fate through Maggots and Beckett's. His Mercedes a little twitchy through there, but he's still on the back of Louis Allen, who just seems to be struggling tonight. Bryn, though, has got a good run through Chapel, and down the hanger straight they come. Can Bryn's Lexus do anything about the Mercedes-Benz in front? It's being dropped by the Honda in the straight line, is the Mercedes. The Lexus sticking with him up the inside at Stowe. Bryn fancies this. Has he got the move done? We see Bryn in the highlights make some cracking moves. He just forces X-Fate a little wide there. There's nothing wrong with that. And Bryn up another place. That is great racing.
It is indeed. Now, Louis Allen really needs to start clearing cars. He's struggling at the minute, and at the minute Smithy is holding him up. Oh, Smithy really clobbers that curb and nearly does a Sutty Apex and roll a GT.
Argent. Apologies, Dan. Argent has got ahead of Monkey Boy, then through farm. Monkey was very wide through the farm. Moved into that P5 situation. We turn though to Smoky Devil at the moment, who is within 0.8 of a second of Lucas Roth. Sekulovic just over a second behind. How good a defensive drive can Lucas Roth have? Pit window though has opened here, and they have 10 minutes to complete their pit stop at the moment. It's going to be a fantastic one to see. Who will box first? This is absolutely crucial in this race. We saw the undercut last night, seemed a bit powerful. Is anybody going to go for it? Lucas is in. Smoky and Sekulovic stay out. It's going to be fascinating to see who does also box. Monkey Boy in. What about Tibbs, who's got Daz on the rear end? They both decide to keep going at this moment in time. So Lucas Roftan pulling the... We don't have Dan at the moment. Smithy stays out. X-Fate goes into P9. DJ Phil is down in 10th place at the moment. He stays out. Louis Allen in already. Early stop for him. Bryn as well comes in for an early stop. What has happened to Sutty? Because Hypertech was at least 12 seconds behind Sutty. Sutty is now 14th and 6 seconds off the back of Hypertech, so he's all going horribly wrong for Sutty Apex. Hypertech is going to stay out. Oh, he's got huge damage on the rear as Sutty Apex, Dan.
Yeah, he's had a moment, and if honest about, I lost you. I didn't hear you. I lost what you said, so I couldn't actually comment on what you asked. But more importantly, Smoky Devil is under some immense pressure from Sekulovic. Now, if Lucas Roth has played an absolute blinder here, he's come in early, get on some fresh set of wets, while Smoky and Sekulovic are too busy battling one another. That will extend the gap once again. But it's only going to be a short window as Smoky Devil goes very, very wide as Sekulovic really goes with him. Reminder, guys, there's got to be 2 wheels on the curb at least on exit, not all 4 wheels off. So Smoky Devil really pushing the limits there. Argent isn't a million miles away if these two have a coming together. So Argent in a very, very good position as Lucas Roth is already gone and out the pits.
He has indeed, and Daz has got past Tibbs on this lap. So Daz moves up to P5, clearly feeling that the strategy of going longer may work. Sekulovic, so on the back of Smoky Devil, and Sekulovic, multiple race winner this season in the Pro-Am category. Smoky Devil, I believe, has 1 race win to his name. Yes, he does, but he's been on a run of 3 podiums in the last 4 races. Can he make it 4 from 5? He's in a good place to do so at the moment. And Lucas Roth, Monkey Boy and Louis Allen already away. Not sure what's happened to Sutty, but you feel he's in for a long pit stop here. As who will box this time around? Second lap of the pit window open. It's only a short one. Smoky a little wider at Luffield than Sekulovic. That's not going to hurt him too bad. You can get the power down as Sekulovic is going to straight away box. Feels the undercut opportunity. Argent stays out at the moment as well. Now we turn to Tibbs and Daz. Tibbs is going to come in over Daz. So Daz feels he's got the pace to keep going at the minute. X-Fate's got ahead of Smithy this lap. As such, Apex still in the pits. He's now a lap down to the leaders. Will obviously unlap himself when they come in. X-Fate, he's going to box. Smithy stays out. We then turn to DJ Phil and Hypertech, who's a bit way off the back. We haven't seen Hypertech since the start of lap 1, really, in this race.
No, not really. He got caught up in that incident at the very start of the race. So Sekulovic is into the pits. Right, Lucas Roth is only now exiting the second sector, heading down the Wellington Straight. Oh, he just touches the curve there. Seeing as Porsche seems to be struggling in the middle sector. That's where Smoky and Sekulovic has been finding their time and gaining on Lucas Roth. But Sekulovic played a clever move there. He knew that Keeks had pitted early and needed to cover him, but at the same time, he didn't want to spend too long behind Smoky Devil and fighting him because he would have lost out to Keeks as well. So we'll keep an eye on Sekulovic. He's now gone green and been dropped. Where is Keeks? He's now coming through Woodcut. So Keeks, I think, should have Sekulovic.
Keeks should have Sekulovic. He's up to main speed with Sekulovic. He's off the limiter. So has he got Sekulovic, or has Sekulovic got the overcut? No, he hasn't. It's undercut that works for Lucas Roth. The gap a little closer than it was because you're not going to fit a BMW between them two now. So it's Keeks from Sekulovic at the moment. Tibbs has also been released. He was in a fight with Daz. As Monkey Boy, did he get past Tibbs? No, so Monkey Boy has lost out massively. He's lost out to Tibbs in all of this as well. Louis Allen is going to jump Hypertech and DJ Phil, and is going to jump X-Fate as well, as X-Fate silent stop-go penalty.
Oh, not good there for him, and a stop-go penalty, that's going to hurt him. It's the worst place to do it here at Silverstone as well. Could have done it worse. You could have done it at Spa, that would have been horrendous. But Monkey Boy, I think, had damage, obviously, when Monkey Boy hit the back. Smoky Devil hit the back of him. So I think, Monkey Boy's probably repaired that rear-end damage and is now trying to work his way back up the pack. But meanwhile, Lucas Roth is holding up Sekulovic badly here. 1/10 separating these two while Smoky Devil is into the pits.
DJ Phil pits as well, Smoky Devil in too, so we'll keep our eyes on Smoky Devil. You have to be on that Wellington straight when the car of Smoky Devil stops in the pit box for it to sort of, you're going to be close that way. Keeks holding up the back of Sekulovic. Hypertech here, by the way. Bryn must have had some damage because Hypertech has jumped not only DJ Phil in the pits, but also Bryn in the pits as well. So good stop from him.
He hasn't repaired the damage.
He hasn't repaired. So maybe a strategy that from Hypertech. Maybe a quicker pit stop to gain up some time while the others did repair damage. As Sekulovic and Keeks are on the Wellington straight, we keep our eyes on Smoky Devil's orange one to go green. Daz and Smithy both stayed out as well, so they're going long. Sekulovic to the outside, Luffield. Keeks knows this track very, very well, as Smoky Devil hasn't gone green yet. They are now flat scat out of Luffield, down towards Woodcote. Smoky Devil's light goes green. He's now going to start to roll out the pit lane. There he is, as he's close to the pit exit. Here comes Keeks. He now gets up to speed. You hear the BMW go, and has the clear air of the BMW jumped Lucas Roth? It has, by a country mile at the moment, and that is a bigger gap than he could have hoped for.
I wouldn't say it's a country mile, but it's definitely a decent amount, as Lucas Roth is still too busy fighting with the McLaren behind him, and Sekulovic has gone around the outside of Maggots, and I think he's got the job done as they go into Chapel. Not quite. Keeks is still on the outside karting line, still got the grip because of the marbles on the outside in the wet conditions. Oh, they just tapped ever so slightly, and I think Lucas Roth is going to lose some straight line advantage here, because here comes the McLaren. The Porsche not quite strong in a straight line compared to the rest of the cars, and around the outside goes Sekulovic. Can Lucas Roth hang it strong on the inside? No, he can't. Or he can, but he's going to be on the outside of Vale as they go through Stowe. And I think Lucas Roth is trying his best. He'll have the inside for Club as they go into Vale. But Lucas Roth still trying to hang in there side by side. Great racing. And Sekulovic thinks, nope, I'm going to try and get the switchback into Club down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. And Lucas Roth now just hanging in there ever so slightly. But while this is all going on, Smoky Devil will extend the gap and pull away.
He will indeed, and that was a great fight from the pair of them two there from Chapel forward. As drivers now start to pit, you can probably squeeze one extra lap in. Sekulovic a little wide through Farm. As X-Fate Silent, just to note as well, is leaving the pits from his stop-go penalty. As Hypertech has gone through, Bryn has also gone through. So did DJ Phil, and Sutty Apex not far off the back. But the leader's in. Smithy as well comes into the pits. So Smoky Devil now, will he be close to Argent, or did Argent's extra couple of laps help him get away in this one and help him pull away? In terms of that gap with Smoky Devil, the clear air is what did help Smoky. Did the clear air help Argent get closer? Well, we'll find out in a moment as Smoky leaves Luffield now, and Argent's light hasn't gone green, meaning that Smoky is probably going to be through. But depending on when it goes green, he could be. It's gone green now. This could be close, to the back of Lucas Roth and Sekulovic.
No. Argent's is quite far away down the pit lane. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think Argent, or I don't know, actually, he's off the limiter. He's coming into turn one. There is Keeks and Sekulovic at full scat. Keeks has gone wide, very wide, and it's going to be very, very tight. Argent's going to be side by side with Lucas Roth. Who's going to be the bravest? It's a back, it's nearly 3 wide. There's a little bit of lag there from Lucas Roth, but Keeks gets the job done. Sekulovic is going to be... as the Arjun and Sekulovic nearly come together there.
Argent looked very twitchy, I have to say, Dan. Argent looked very twitchy, but
no.
it was very, very close there for Argent to get this job done in terms of Sekulovic and Lucas Roth. That was nearly 3 wide into Maggots and Beckett's. You normally can't overtake at Maggots and Beckett's, never mind go 3 wide.
Yeah, no, that was scary stuff. I thought for a second Arjun was on dries, but he's not. He's definitely on wet set of tyres. So he's just got no pressure, and obviously he's just been thrown right into a fight where Lucas Roth and Sekulovic have got hot, pressure tyres, and they're ready to go racing. While Arjun, meanwhile, was just struggling to get his tyres into temperature, into pressure. The man who's been quietly minding his own business has been Daz. He's slowly worked his way onto the back of Arjun. He's still a little bit off, but he's carried that damage that he didn't repair in the pit stop.
Now, the question I ask you, Dan, when Argent pitted, there was 2 minutes 40 left on the lap. An extra lap with Argent in clear air. Would that have gave him a bit of an opportunity to maybe be that little bit further ahead of these two in the pits? It would have been another lap of these two battling and another lap of Argent having clear air.
Yeah, it would have, and it's helped him out, definitely. He's now on to the back of the top, well, I say the top 3. The second of 3, second and third place man, as they're trying to fight it out for those last few podium positions. If Arjun just sits back, waits a couple of laps and just see how this unfolds, he might be able to get himself involved. But for a minute, if I was in Arjun's position, I'd be doing exactly what he's doing now, just sitting and waiting for the right opportunity. These two could still come together and you get an easy couple of places. But fantastic job in the pits though for Arjun to get this close to the top 3.
It is indeed. I'm just looking at the track map here. What has happened to Monkey Boy's race? He's dropped to 11th, and car number 4 looks very slow through Stowe, and it is pretty much crawling. Oh, looks back up to speed, so it looked very slow down the hangar straight. Not sure what has happened to Monkey Boy there, but either way, it is gone. It's not gone right for him in this race. He's down to P11, so Dynaco Racing boys are not having the race they'd have wanted, but it is Keegs, Daz and Argent, while Smoky Devil is 5 seconds up the road. This the main fight on the track as we actually drop down to Sutty a moment. It's somewhere, and that gap is 0.7 of a second as Monkey Boy once again looks a little slow into the Abbey corner.
I'm hearing confirmation that Monkey Boy might be suffering with pedal issues. That's why he is slow. So Monkey Boy suffering with pedals at the minute, so his steering wheel pedals not wanted to perform how they should. But we go back to Lucas Roth. It's Sekulovic going around the outside of Stowe as they go down into Vale, and he's on the inside again. But we saw last time out, Keith can stick to the outside and have the inside for Club, and he's managed to do it again. So Sekulovic needs to come up with some new tricks here, because Lucas Roth knows exactly where he's going to put the car and what he's going to be doing.
And Keegs a very clever driver and knows where to put the car. Sekulovic very wide there, and ACC will be giving him track limit warnings for this. Any big cuts, and that'll be 1, 3, 4. It's 3 strikes. Your 4th strike will be then given a drive-through penalty. As Argent now on the back of Sekulovic. Is he going to look into Village? And he has a look at Keegs as well, but he gets side by side with Sekulovic as they come to the loop. He's going to be on the outside. Does he think of a cutback? Can't get it done. He does! Sekulovic has dropped the rear of the car, and Argent is all of a sudden on the podium. Daz gets through, Tibbs gets through, Louis Allen's a little further behind, but Sekulovic on his own drops the rear, and Argent now on the podium.
Yeah, Argent is on the podium. I did say he could possibly win this race, and he's about to possibly hunt down Lucas Roth and get a 2nd place. If Smoky Devil has any issues, then Argent will be an opportunity to win the race. So poor Monkey Boy, I've given him the curse instead of Argent.
Yeah,
He's right on the rear wing of that Porsche.
He is. This Bentley looks absolutely fantastic at the minute in the hands of Argent. It's going great guns at Silverstone. The Boatley, as some people call it, here in the rain in Northamptonshire, but it's Kieran Argent who's really attacking the back of Lucas Roth. 2 veterans here at SimPlay Motorsport, been here since day 1, and Argent attacking the Bentley, attacking the Porsche. Technically both part of the Volkswagen group, I do believe. So it's a Volkswagen who will not want to hit each other here, with a BMW winning, as PN is now in the lobby ready for race 2.
Oh, these guys are going to love that. A little bit of lag as he joins the lobby. But now Argent is right on the rear wing. 2 Volkswagen cars, even though the Bentley technically isn't part of the Volkswagen group, but it is now owned by Volkswagen. Is really hustling the Porsche of the basically the Beetle. and it's really hustling the back of that car right now, looking for any opportunity to find a way past. So the number 13 versus the number 52, who's going to come out on top? But either way, the 43 of Smokey Devil is long gone up the road. He's got a comfortable gap of 7.5 seconds ahead of these two. So I really think all Smokey has to do is stay off those curbs, keep it smooth and consistent, and he's got another race win in the bag here, in the BMW as well.
Yeah, in the BMW, which me and Nexus over the course of these weeks, these last 7 weeks, have said that it doesn't look great in the wet. Well, he's doing a fantastic job so far tonight here at Silverstone. He's got the BMW hooked up and he's having a real charge late in the season. Argent looks to the inside though at Village, can't get it done. Keeg saw him late, gave him plenty of room. No contact made. Argent starting to put pressure on Lucas Roth here, Dan. And we see sometimes with Argent that when he puts pressure on, he does tend to outbrake himself a little bit at corners. He's just going to want to take his time here because he's got Daz only 3 seconds off the back. And Argent flying as Tibbs is wide in the background.
Meanwhile, we got the two Bentleys of Sutty Apex and Monkey Boy pressurising the Aston Martin of DJ Phil. He's been hanging in there for as long as he possibly can, but I think he might get mugged here by two Bentleys. And these two look like a pair of sharks ready to pounce on his prey.
They do indeed. The blue and pink, the blue and yellow. As Monkey Boy's going to take the outside line of Stowe. Sutty Apex going to watch this one done. As Monkey Boy gets a big twitch under braking. Goes round the outside of DJ Phil. Is he going to get it done or is Sutty going to get the inside? Oh, DJ Phil just gives him a little tap on exit there. And Sutty's now going to take the place from his teammate. He's now going to try and attack DJ Phil into club. Phil defending for his life. We saw last week Phil defended well from Tibbs until he made a mistake. Sutty now gets the switch back. Tucks underneath. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. You're not going to get an easier one than that.
No, you're not indeed, as I think Lucas Roth is still defending as hard as he possibly can, as Argent had a great run through Chapel. He's down the hanger straight, and he will have that straight line advantage. The Porsche doesn't seem as good in a straight line as the other cars. So Argent to the outside, but he can't quite get the job done into Stowe. And into Vale they go, and I think Argent has just not got enough in hand right in the minute as Lucas Roth is defending for his life. They've only got a couple of minutes left of this session, and Smokey Devil pulling further and further away as Daz is now starting to get ever so closer to the scrap.
He is indeed, and Dan, as we've seen the last 2 times with Lucas Roth on Sekulovic, he can afford to let Argent have the inside into Vale because he knows he can cover the outside line there and have the inside into club. Lucas Roth is very confident, so Argent, he's not got to be able, he's got to get up the inside at Stowe if he's going to do it there. This is where Argent puts Sekulovic under pressure. Is he going to look to put Keegs under pressure? A bit of a twitch, under braking, and Argent has to go a little straight on, misses the back of Keegs there as he couldn't get that car stopped. Down the back of the order, X-Fate has dropped off the back of this train. And Monkey Boy in towards Cops. Again, just looks a little wiggly from Monkey Boy and can't still find a way through past DJ Phil.
He touched that curb. That exit curb, or sorry, entry curb is very, very wet and slippery. I found that out in the Retia, and most of the time I went around every time. So he's probably struggling with that curb. The Bentley seems to be better on the curbs, but right now it's struggling to find a way past the Aston Martin. I'm just keeping an eye on the gap between Lucas Roth and Argent, but it seems like Argent can't quite do anything in sector 1 or 2, sector 1 or 3 on the Porsche, but it's the middle sector. Like I said, Keeks is struggling there.
He is indeed, as Daz 2.3 off the back of these two now, so he's clawed back a second. Tibbs is 2.1 behind him. Hats off to Smithy, by the way. Hats off to Smithy. He's hung in there in P8 and he's only 2.9 off the back of Louis Allen, so he's had a great race. Right, Keegs, Argent in towards Maggots, Beckett's. Lot of curb for Argent there into Maggots, now into Beckett's. And this is where the Bentley, I feel, has a good bit of opportunistic chance to get past or get a run on the hanger straight over the Porsche, but Argent there just didn't seem to capitalise on where the Bentley feels strong. But again, that could just be personal preference. Argent may not feel as strong through Maggots and Beckett's. Sekulovic in the background gaining on Tibbs, and Argent has lost a bit of time. Keegs a little twitch into Stowe, and another little twitch again on the mid-corner of Stowe. Puts Argent right on the back of him, but he can afford to let Argent go to the outside. Is Argent brave enough to do what Keegs has done to Sekulovic? He is, you know, he's kept it there. Has a nose on the inside. Was the contact made? Not too sure. They definitely touched the second time around, and Argent, they touch again into club. They both go very, very wide, but Argent gets past Lucas Roth.
Yeah, that's a little bit too pushy for my liking. I think both cars have to go off track. That's very much Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen as Brazil, where neither car even made the corner. As Lucas Roth goes onto the grass, he ain't going to stop that. Oh, and off he goes. Contact with Argent, and he's now not just going to lose out to Argent, but he loses out to Daz. Will he lose out to Exit Tibbs? Not quite close as Segulovic drops it in the background, and around he goes as Lucas Roth goes from second, was on the podium. He's now down to 4th.
He is down to 4th. It's Smoky Devil, 11.3 clear of Argent, who has got Daz right behind him. We've not seen Daz on the podium for a while. Bit of bad luck has come his way this season. He's now on the podium at the moment, thanks to getting past Lucas Roth. And him and Argent having a bit of handbags. DJ Phil's dropped behind X-Fate here, so not sure what's happened to DJ Phil in the race. As Daz Automatic now is on the back of Argent. We've got 1 lap left. Race control tell us that it is the final lap. It is Smoky from Argent with Daz on the back of him. Then it's Lucas Roth with Tibbs right on the back of him. Big gap to Sekulovic, Louis Allen, Smithy, Hypertech Bryn, Sutty, Monkey Boy, X-Fate, DJ Phil. PN was not in this race. He did not start it, so therefore will not go down as a retirement. He came in late. But at the minute, last lap, battle for 2nd and 3rd, and a battle for 4th and 5th.
Tibbs is sending it. Tibbs is sending it into Maggots and Beckett's. He thought better of it. Tibbs is really hustling the back of Lucas Roth. Lucas Roth's rear end is really loose. I think the contact between him and Argent has probably damaged the rear end of that Porsche. And we know the Porsche is very twitchy. All Tibbs has to do is just wait for the right time to pounce and attack. He was so close to attacking into Maggots and Beckett's, but didn't quite have the confidence to outbrake Lucas Roth or even run the curve. So I think right now, Keegs is really hanging in there.
He is really hanging in there. Argent as well seems to be hanging in there over Daz. Daz has had good pace in testing before we came on air today, and he's got good pace now. And at the moment, he's sat on the back of Argent, as Argent, Daz and Smoky Devil are the current podium sitters. Lucas Roth has got Tibbs right on the back of him. You have to tip Lucas Roth for a fantastic defensive drive today. But you have to tip Smoky Devil because it was the pit strategy, Dan, that put Smoky Devil in the lead of this race.
It is indeed, and he managed to outsmart the rest of the guys, but they were too busy racing one another. He managed to get the jump, the clear air that he needed so badly, and he has got a comfortable gap of 12 seconds. He's long gone. But just keep an eye on the Daz and Argent fight. I don't think Daz is going to do it. Tibbs, on the other hand, might have an opportunity because Lucas Roth is struggling so much. The 2 pink cars going at it at the minute, and I think Tibbs has got a great run as they now head towards the Wellington Straight.
As they head towards the Wellington Straight, we'll catch up with them in a moment because it is this man, Smoky Devil, who is going to take another race win. It's his 2nd of the season. It's another win for BMW. We've not seen this many wins for BMW since Andy on Project Cars 2. But Smoky Devil is your round 15 race winner. Argent and Daz fighting tooth and nail till the very end. It's been a great fight, but it is looking like it's going to go the way of Kieran Argent with a great 2nd place. Daz on the podium in 3rd. Lucas Roth just brings it home from Tibbs in P4 and 5 there. It's a great result for them. Sekulovic down in P6 after a couple of spins to his name. Louis Allen, though, a fair way back. He's just not had the pace in this race.
No, he has not. But again, he's scoring points. He's 7th. He's got the points in hand. So although these guys are scrapping out in front for the win, he's still scoring the decent points. He's not like he's down in 14th or 15th. Again, top 8. Solid points for Louis. And again, this is what builds a championship. You don't have to win every race. You just have to score the most amount of points.
You do, as Louis Allen comes to the line now in the Honda, and that is going to be P7 for Louis Allen. Smithy, not a million miles away behind. A good P8 for Smithy. I'm sure he will take that one. Hypertech doesn't look like it repaired his damage in the pits. It did him the world of good here, excuse me, as he's going to come home in P9. Oh, Bryn's had a spin at the very end. Sutty's way back, though, so Bryn looks like he's going to hang on for that P10.
Yep, Sutty just going to finish in 11th place. And number 12 really looked like he had some pace in practice, but looks like he's not been able to deliver here. Nor Monkey Boy. I apologise for Monkey Boy. He gave him the commentator's curse, thinking he's going to win this one. But it will be Bryn to finish 10th. Sutty will finish in 11th. Monkey Boy will finish in 12th place, with X-Fate Silent coming home in 13th place, with DJ Phil completing the order in 14th place. But Smoky Devil is your race winner.
Here's your race winner. Round 15 goes the way of Smoky Devil, and that is all she wrote for the time being. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Go and grab a drink and maybe a quick toilet break, some refreshments, as we'll be right back in about 10 minutes' time for round 16 and race 2 of the evening.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born to win, watch me elevate. I was born to win, watch me elevate.
Broken dreams in my pocket. Golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, cause you caught it. You caught it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street like I am so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine just so that I could show you. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden. Golden. Yeah.
getting hype when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport, where we are here for the qualifying of the evening, the one and only qualifying. Myself, Mathew, Duffin and Dan Davis back in the commentary box with our race winner, Smoky Devil, Kieran Argent, P2 and Daz Automatic, P3. Don't forget, these are all provisional results after Stewart's inquiries in the race. Afterwards, it will be looked at, but I didn't really see anything wrong with the top three there. We will, though, firstly mention that Kieran Argent's podium at the moment means he has got his 50th podium secured, and that is podium number 50 done. If Bryn starts this second race, it will be race number 150 for Bryn. But 128 points left in the championship. It is Louis Allen that leads the way, 25 points clear of Tibbs. That gap's come down a little bit. Smoky Devil now moves into P3, 40 points off the back. He's 2 clear, though, of Sekulovic. Sooty Apex down in 5th. Argent moves up to 6th and is only 14 points behind Sooty Apex. Noza is P7, with Bryn down in 8th place, not far off the back of him. 1 point ahead of Daz Automatic, who moves up to 9th. Hypertech is up to 10th. PN drops down to 11th, with DJ Phil 10th. And X-Fate Silent 13th. While we're on about X-Fate Silent and Sekulovic, they have qualifying bans to serve. They cannot qualify, although Sekulovic is out on track, so will be penalised by race control and the stewards if he does qualify in this race. He will have the option to start from the back of the grid in the warm-up lap like Max Mulder did last week. Smithy is P14, cannot win the championship. Max Mulder is P15, cannot win the championship. Monkey Boy stays 16th place. Keegs moves up to 17th ahead of Mordecai, who is 18th. AKA Fix 19th and Dean Wasaki 20th. 243 points left in the Constructors' battle. And that is going the way at the moment of Titan Aura Race and Daz and Louis. 85 clear of Max and Tibbs in the SRL Pink McLaren. Back to front racing of the Lexus, the Porsche Bentley of Smithy and Argent are P3. 3 points clear of Dynaco Racing of the 2 Bentleys of Monkey Boy and Sooty Apex before East West Motorsport and MBR Racing Team. McLaren of obviously manufacturer champions. Bentley are now confirmed as the second place in the Manufacturers' Championship, so well done to Bentley. Ferrari now in a fight for P3. We will, though, start with Daz Automatic. And Daz, a chaotic first lap that led to an absolute fantastic recovery in the race. It got you on the podium.
Yeah, well happy with that. I thought it was going to be the same as every other week recently, but yeah, stuck my head down, didn't repair my damage, and got the race result.
We said off air a moment ago that it was really the pit stop that got you on the back of this opportunity for the podium.
Yeah. I could see Kieran was getting held up by Lucas Roth, so I thought, right, knuckle down, try and catch on. I see them have a little tangle together then, and I thought I'd get the two of them, but Kieran was wily and managed to keep me back.
It was very close at the end. It was a couple of tenths as you crossed the line between yourself and Arj. Did you at one stage on that final lap think, maybe I could get him done here?
Yeah, I did, but I thought I'm not going to risk nothing and knock the two of us off, so I just thought I'll take the points, take the team points, and get on for the next race.
Next race, though, coming up in a few moments' time. Obviously, the qualifying. It's raining at the moment, but over the next half an hour, that rain looks like it's going to get lighter. The track has changed to wet conditions. If it stays wet for the race, what do you think you can do?
Hopefully the same as I've done in race 1, but obviously with it being wet, it could be more chaotic, so just keep my nose clean, I think.
Well, Daz, we wish you the best of luck. Go and get him.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys.
And we talked to Argent now, who obviously results provisional, but at the minute, Argent, it's first of all your 50th podium at SimPlay Motorsport in the history of SimPlay. You've been here since day one, so it must be nice to get that 50th podium.
Yeah, it's nice to get a podium. I'd say first one this season, better late than never, but hopefully more to come before the end of the season.
Hopefully more to come. Talk us through your race, though, because again, like Daz, it was the pit stop really that got you this opportunity to get on the podium.
Yeah, I didn't realise how much the guys were battling in front of me and obviously behind me after the pit stop, but managed to keep my nose clean halfway through and then come out side by side with Keeg or Lucas Roth out the pit exit, and then side by side with Sakulovic into Maggott and Beckett, which wasn't the greatest, but as I say, turned out alright in the end.
Turned all right in the end, and like I said, got you in the podium. Did you think for one stage, though, that Daz may get you here because he was right on the back of you for them last two laps?
Yeah, I think especially the last lap, I just tensed up a bit with not being on the podium for a while and made a couple of small mistakes, but just managed to park the car in the right place.
Park the car in the right place. Track's currently wet. Rain looks like it's going to slightly improve over the next half an hour. What's the thoughts for race 2?
Keep my nose clean. I know I've got good pace, maybe not as good as others, but good pace, another top 5 result, maybe a podium if I'm lucky, but who knows.
Well, Argent, best of luck. We'll let you get back to it. And we now turn our attention to our race winner, second race win for him of the season. Didn't expect that from the BMW tonight, but what a race it was. You see, we said last week that you seem to be getting stronger in this BM towards the end of the season. It really is working for you at the moment. Now, you had good pace at the start. You was hassling the back of Monkey Boy before a good move into Abbey. You then was on the back of Lucas Roth before he pitted in the qualifying session, in the race, sorry. But again, it wasn't any overtake on Lucas Roth that won you this race. It was your pit stop going longer. Race 2 coming up, the conditions getting better. It's wet though, not damp now. So what's the thoughts for the second race? We'll wish you the best. We'll wish you the best of luck, Smokey. Dan, 3 podium drivers, all 3 very happy with their work today.
I would be, definitely. Being on the podium, especially around Silverstone, is definitely a highlight in the season. Probably, arguably, some of these guys' probably favourite circuit as well. But nonetheless, 3 very happy drivers and 1 driver who might be in trouble, Sekulovic, who's currently on pole position, who was not meant to be qualifying in the first place. So right now he is on pole, so technically Tibbs is on pole position, and he's only 3/10 off of Sekulovic at the minute. But obviously some of these boys haven't gone out, haven't done any lap times yet, the likes of Smoky Devil and Daz, but they are now out on track, and God, I would like to be them doing an interview while trying to qualify at the same time.
Yeah, no, isn't it? Because obviously the last time we did interviews after race 1, it was top half couldn't qualify, so they got a chance to sit, feet up, cup of coffee, and watch the boys qualifying. Either way, they've had to qualify while doing an interview, so it's Sekulovic who cannot qualify but has. So it's going to be interesting to see what race control decide there. We're currently watching Sooty Apex as he comes to the line now. He will not improve his time. Yes, he does. Sorry, apologies. He goes P3, 3/10 off the back. Bryn, the next driver, to set a lap time. He goes up to P4. 2.2 though off the back, so struggling at the minute. Louis Allen, will he improve his lap time? Moves ahead of PM Motorsport into P5. PM has done a good opening lap and has then gone into the pit, so will he change a few things? Sekulovic not meant to be qualifying, so we're going to jump back down to Hypertech, who is the next car on a valid lap.
That's the line. Still no valid lap time for him, so Daz looking to try and just get himself into a groove here, and I think a lot of these guys now need to get themselves a decent lap time under their belts and get themselves the best opportunity in the start of this one. Sekulovic going faster again. He does a 2:06.7, but he should not be out qualifying at all. And right now, Sooty is now the man who's on pole with exit tips in 3rd, and Bryn in the Lexus at the minute in a solid P4, but we're still yet to see what Daz and Smoky Devil can do, as those guys were on the podium, and see what Lucas Ruff can do. He finished P4 in the end. What can he do in the Porsche?
As Hypertech goes P10, for those of you in the audience, as DJ Phil comes to the line, he stays P8. If you see the little track map in the bottom corner, if the dot is grey, they are on a valid lap time. If the dot is light blue, they are on an invalid lap time. Whether that is track limits or coming out of the pit lane, that is how you identify who is on a valid lap or invalid lap. So we turn our attention to Keegs now, who is on a valid lap time. The only driver with Monkey Boy and Smokey not to set one yet. What will he do? It's interesting to see that Daz still hasn't gone out yet, with only 5 minutes left of qualifying.
Yeah, he still has not gone out. So Daz has been out, but he's not been able to set a lap time in. So maybe a few little changes and tweaks and just holding that pace in and then absolutely nail it just at the end while multiple cars are on track. It is meant to ease off the rain in about half an hour's time, as Lucas Ruff is into Woodcut and he comes towards the start-finish line. What is this going to be? It's going to be P2. Good lap from the Porsche.
Yeah, Bentley though now of Sooty Apex comes towards the line here. Can he find any more time? He doesn't improve this time around. Next car will be Louis Allen. Dan, with this light rain around at the moment, is the track going to get better and better as this session goes on, as Daz is back out the pits? Are we going to see drivers start to improve as Louis Allen goes above Bryn into 5th place? Argent's the next man set a time and he moves into 7th.
I think with these conditions as it is, I don't think they're going to change massively, but if there's more cars on track, then yes, the track will improve ever so slightly, but I don't think we're going to see a massive jump. Smoky Devil not setting a lap time there, so he really needs to get a lap time on the board, as his exit Tibbs now goes P2. Sekulovic is coming up behind him, and he doesn't improve, but he should not be on track anyway, so he should either fall to the back of the grid when we get going, and he's gone wide anyway through cops anyway, so he's going to lose that lap time. But yeah, so far so good for the McLaren boys, but Lucas Ruff in the Porsche looking very, very strong in these conditions, as we then head to the next car coming into the final sector, which I believe is I can't see with this map.
Car 21 is Hypertech at Luffield on an invalid lap. Car 35 is Daz on an invalid lap. The next one on a valid lap is Lucas Ruff, who we're currently on board with at the moment. So we'll see what Lucas Roth can do. He's just coming through the loop now as he starts his next lap. Sooty's the car behind him on a valid one. Monkey Boy on another invalid lap time. He's not got a lap time on the board. Lucas Roth has pulled it. Turn our attention to Sooty. Drivers have got a chance to get back out of the pits and try one more flying lap.
He will indeed. Can anybody get past Skudovic's time, as Exit Tips is looking like the best threat at the minute, but there's still a lot of guys with a little bit of time left to get themselves out on track and get that few lap times in. At the minute, the guys who are sitting in the pits right now, Lucas Roth, Bryn, PN, Smithy, and Silent, X-Fate Silent will not obviously get out because he's got a qualifying ban. I'm tripping over my own words here. Oh, yeah. As I just go on board of Arjun, and Louis Allen's facing the wrong way. So those guys who are in the pits right now, they will not get a lap time on the board. Smoky Devil bangs in a lap time, but he's going to get held up by the Dynaco Bentley in front of him.
The Dynaco Bentley in front of him as Argent's Bentley comes to the line, and he improves to go P6. It's not outright qualifying pace at the minute for Argent, but it is good pace still in that top 6. Daz, the next car on a valid lap, very twitchy, and around she goes at Stowe Corner. Needs to get it round. He's got plenty of time to get another lap in. Sutty's just returned to the pit, so he is done as well, meaning that Daz is now validated his lap. The next car on a valid lap is that of Monkey Boy, with Smoky Devil right behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do in terms of getting that lap time on the board.
Indeed, it is. He needs to get this lap time in, because otherwise he's going to be doing what he did in race 1, starting from the back and working his way through. There's a lot more hard work for him then, but all these guys on a few final laps here. For some reason, my map is not giving me the blue dots, so I don't actually know who's on a lap time.
Right, okay, Smoky Devil has just tapped Monkey Boy around. They've got Argent coming, who is the next man on a valid lap. Smoky has returned to the pit lane. Monkey Boy has now returned to the pit lane as well. So it's Argent on the next valid lap time. The car to the line is Hypertech, 39 seconds. He will get one more lap in. Daz is on the Wellington Straight. He should get another lap in. So it is Argent on a valid lap is the last one. He won't. But Smoky Devil tapping Monkey Boy around there in qualifying.
Daz really needs to make sure that this lap is squeaky clean if he does get it in. I think he should just. He's into the final exit of the final corner, so 12 seconds to go. It's going to be tight, but he will get that lap time in, but he needs to keep it on track this time round. He's got 5 seconds to the line. There he goes. Will he able to get a lap time on the board? This is it. So Argent and Tibbs really, and Daz Automatic are the ones who could steal the party here for Sekulovic. But realistically, it is Smoky Devil on pole position at the moment.
It is Smoky Devil on pole position at the moment, but it's Argent coming towards the line. He exits Luffield now. He gets the power down. What's he going to do as he comes towards the line? He's going to cross it momentarily. Through Woodcut he comes. Here comes Argent. Does he upset the party? No. Stays P6. Next car, though, is Tibbs, who only needs just over 0.2 of a second to upset Smoky Devil here.
He's up a 10th on his personal best. I've gone into drive, so he's up a 10th at the minute. He's coming into the final sector, into Brooklands now. He's found 3 or 4 attempts just in that corner alone. So Tibbs is possibly on a decent lap here, but he needs to just make it squeaky clean on the exit here.
He's got to be squeaky clean on the exit. Round the exit he comes. He's found 0.2 of a second. What's he going to be able to do in this session? Can he put himself on that pole position and take it away from Smoky Devil? No, he can't. He misses out just at the very end. So it will be P3 for him. DJ Phil, though, is still on track. It's not done because DJ Phil, who runs wide there, that hasn't invalidated his lap time. Wow, that is surprising. That didn't invalidate his lap time there. So DJ Phil now comes round. Is he going to be able to get anything done in this session? Where's it going to put him? Right at the very end. To the line he comes now. DJ Phil on a lap. Stays P10. So Dan, there's no improvements at the moment, but are we going to see an improvement from Daz, who's not yet set a lap time? Hypertech comes to the line first. Needs 1.8 seconds to get himself ahead of Smithy. Has he found it? Hypertech to the line and goes P11 ahead of Smithy. Daz didn't invalidate his lap, but it hasn't counted his time. We'll go on board him just in case it keeps his time at the end. So Daz then, a nightmare qualifying for him.
This is what it's all about. You need to get those lap times in. You can't just you got to get at least one banker in. If you don't get that banker in, you're going to be at the back of the pack. And this is what's happened to Daz. He comes to the line, lap time. Yeah,
doesn't let him. So the session is ended without him getting the lap time. So it's Smoky Devil who will be the man on pole position, as Sekulovic should be serving a qualifying ban. So the extra point will go the way of Smoky Devil in this qualifying session so far. So all in all, Dan, pretty good job from Smoky Devil here. He's having a bit of a good night.
Silverstone, wet conditions, B&W, it all feels a little bit familiar to me. No, but the B&W used to be yellow, and I used to be stuck behind it.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely been a good night for Smoky Devil. He looks the strongest package here tonight, especially in that B&W, which we was not expecting. But can he now go and do it in race 2? He has got a couple of hungry drivers behind him. What can Sutty Apex do? Now he's at the front of the pack. He got caught up in all sorts of incidences earlier on tonight, and he's been very, very good in the wet. If I remember rightly, re-watching some of the streams, he has been the man to beat in the wet conditions. But Smoky Devil and this track and that B&W seems to be the best package here at the minute. But Sekudovic dropping to the back of the pack, who is going to be the one to win race 2.
Indeed it is. So Smoky Devil not only took his, as I'm just finding the stats now, Smoky Devil didn't only just take his 4th race win of the season, tying him with Bozzy Boy, Keegs and Nicky, some names there from the past. He's also now took another pole position, which gives him 6, tying him with Green Pies and none other than the GOAT, D-Biggs.
Oh, D-Biggs. I miss him.
Yeah, there is a blast from the past.
There was an old partnership that will go down in history. And
3-time Constructors winner with yourself, of course. And
Shake and Bake Motorsport in the Porsche 911.
And the McLaren.
And the McLaren, yeah, the one McLaren that we don't ever see. But possibly next season, it could make an appearance. You just don't know. But any original colours as well?
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the race wins, then, that was BMW's 20th race win. It is now 9 race wins behind the Bentley and 4 ahead of the Honda. That is its 39th pole position, which ties BMW with Porsche in terms of pole positions. What a crazy stat when you think of Gary with 2 championships in the Porsche, yourself with 2 championships in the Porsche. Them stats seem crazy that, 39 pole positions each.
Well, the Porsche was very, very good on project cars, but when you come to ACC, it was very different. Even if you look at the most successful drivers here, with myself, Biggs, Gary, and a few others who have driven the Porsche as well around here, it's not a surprise that the Porsche struggles on this game, but I do think that the old Porsche on project cars too was a different animal, and it did have to be dumbed down because it was OP. But we'll see what Keys can do in this Porsche. He is up at the front. He is on the second row with Tibbs, with the McLaren, as Sekudovic is choosing to carry on going around. So he will more likely get a hefty penalty for this one. But it's interesting to see when I'm looking at the most successful around here. I'm on here somehow.
2 race wins and a pole position to your name. And I think I said it on commentary last night that if you'd have won last night, and if Max had a race tonight and got a race win, and if I win one tomorrow, we'll also be tied then on 3 race wins.
If I'm honest, I don't understand how I am on that list, because Matt, you do know for a fact that I detest British circuits. British driver, detest British circuits. So
which I've always said is quite funny, because I've always thought you've gone well at British circuits, and it's that old thing, isn't it? I don't like the track, but then every time you race here, you seem to get a good result at that track. It's one of them old sort of things, isn't it?
I think it's because when you're in that mindset that you don't like the track, all you do in that point is then go into survival. Obviously, the circuits I do enjoy are very unorthodox. That's the whole point of the name of unorthodox. But I do like the unorthodox circuits, just like Bathurst, and Suzuka is probably on there as well. Hungaroring was something I'm looking forward to racing. But no, it's definitely when you're in that mindset that you don't like the circuit, you go into a survival mode. You go into let's just get to the end and score points. And that's how Louis Allen has probably done this most of the season. He's just gone into a survival mode, and that's what's put him in this championship lead. He is starting to slowly get caught. He has got to start putting some decent performances now, because he will get caught by the drivers behind him. And with the likes of Smoky Devil, who's finding his groove, especially in this BMW, there is not much more he can do other than try and get those race wins in the Honda.
Yeah, indeed they are. Then as they come into Brooklands and Luffield, I'll have to finish the SimGrid pieces later. That's why the timetable was up for so long. That's what it was doing. So Sekudovic has chosen not to go to the back of the pack. He should have had a qualifying ban, but has decided to stay at the front of the pack, and in fact has actually dropped down the order a little bit now. So he's come back to the front now, so he's got back to the front of the pack. So Sekulovic has chose to stay at the front. Stewards will obviously investigate this one, and that will be potentially a further qualifying ban for next week, which isn't what he would have wanted. But the race start is in this slide for round 16 of the season. We go green and go here. It wasn't the best held up of the pack either. Smoky Devil's already going to look up the inside at Cop's corner, and it's job done at turn 1 for Smoky Devil. Sekulovic caught napping at the start. Smokey's got him done. He's in the lead of the race. Tibbs is attacking. Lucas Roth's attacking Tibbs. Bit of a gap to Sooty Apex in the background. Nobody's off this time, so it's all through cleanly. But it's Smoky Devil, Dan, who's already got the jump on Sekulovic.
Louis Allen's gone round. He's had a horrific start. Maggots and Beckett's. There's cars everywhere. Louis Allen's gone round. So has PN and so has DJ Phil. The two Aston Martins both going off. And they are now dropping to the back of the pack. Monkey Boy and Daz trying to avoid all sorts of chaos. So that's what's happened towards the back. And they're all getting concertinaed by Smithy. But the top 5 have already disappeared and gone.
Yeah, they've already disappeared and gone, and Keegs was looking to the outside of Tibbs, and you'd think Keegs would have learned that lesson from when Sekulovic tried to do it to him. Sooty, though, looking up the inside of Keegs, and Keegs knows Sooty very well, but Sooty doesn't think of the send-it manoeuvre. As the rain's getting lighter over the next half an hour, the track has changed back to damp, so with that rain getting lighter over the next half an hour, will this improve the track conditions a little bit? Sekulovic very wide at the in the club corner, down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. It's Smokey, Sekulovic, Smithy side by side with Hypertech, and gets that move back done, as X-Fate pulls out in the background and gets past Hypertech as well. Daz trying to make his way through the field, but PN in his race start hasn't got it done. Bryn did start the race, which means that is race start number 150.
Louis Allen with the horrific start. This is not what he wants. Where before we were saying that he was minding his own business and not getting in trouble, he's the one who was in trouble this time round. And he's got a lot of work to do. He's got to hope for a little bit of chaos further up. But Smoky Devil now starting to extend the gap on Sekulovic. Tibbs is sticking with him. Lucas Roth isn't a million miles away either. And Sooty, keep an eye on the send it. But meanwhile, Hypertech in the background. Oh, he did a bit of Kimi Räikkönen there, nearly ending up in the wall over the bridge.
He did, as well as Smithy got passed by X-Fate. Monkey Boy's looked up the inside of Hypertech, and that is a good move from Monkey Boy. Hypertech trying to keep it around the outside of Brooklands to have the inside for Luffield. Can't do it there, so he has to tuck back in behind. But Monkey Boy has got a Smokey stretches the leg from Sekulovic. Then it's Tibbs with Lucas Roth right on the back of him. Lucas Roth's going to pull out, have a look into Cops. He tucks back in and thinks better of it. Sooty Apex having a much better show in this second time round, Dan.
Yeah, he's out of the trouble, he's in the action, and now he's trying to put that Bentley pace to its uses, as Argent showed in race 1. So maybe with Sooty with a clean car and a clean chance to go and attack the cars in front, he will be able to just push and work his way forward, and maybe we will see the Sooty send it in the Bentley, but he is really hustling the back of Lucas Roth. Meanwhile, the guys behind are all being held up by Smithy, who drove a fantastic
Daz is round!
earlier on.
Apologies, Dan. Daz has had a spin. We was on board Monkey Boys. He got past Smithy. Daz has gone around at Maggots and Beckett's. It has demoted him to last place. So after the jubilation of race 1, it is commiseration at the moment in race 2.
The Sooty send it has been sent, and he's not quite been able to deliver it to the post box because Lucas Roth has managed to hang it around the outside. And now we head into Vale and Club. He's now sending it down the inside, but he can't quite get close enough as Lucas Roth is able to be later on the brakes. And the Porsche does tend to like the brakes to be on the rear a little bit more, so he's able to turn in better than the Bentley. So the Bentley probably understeering into the corner, so the Porsche stays just ahead. But now Argent is coming onto the back as Bryn goes very wide in the background, but that Lexus is still within reach of the guys in front.
It is indeed, as Sooty then is really trying to hassle the back of Lucas Roth. He's allowed Tibbs to get away. Sekulovic has been dropped by Smoky Devil. It is a battle as Sooty looks up the inside. Keys goes a little wide through Village. Sooty now has the chance to have a look on Lucas Roth. Argent is right there as well. All this hustling and bustling is going to allow Bryn to get on the back of him. Keeks, though, just doesn't seem to have the best of the speed at the moment. Did he maybe alter his pressures for the wetter track with it going back to damper and getting the rain intensity getting less as the night goes on? Is Keegs' pressure's just a little underinflated as Sooty now up the inside at Brooklands. Looks like he's going to get that move done, and that is nearly. Keegs is still there. No, he's not. Sooty gets the job done in the end.
Oh, Keegs was very kind there to Sooty. He could have kept the nose in, but he chose not to and survive another day. Now he's got Argent behind him. The thing is, Keegs will be struggling in a straight line. This Porsche is very tricky in a straight line. It's not the fastest, but it's very good in the corners, and it's just getting mugged by cars left, right and centre. It's just losing grip. at the minute. But Argent is now onto the back of the Porsche. Meanwhile, the top three have spread out a little bit. What can Sutty do with Tibbs now? And can he work his way to the front of the pack as DJ Phil has dropped behind Daz, as Daz working his way. Oh, it's Louis Allen's in the wall. Your championship leader has hit the wall where Max Verstappen famously went off with Lewis Hamilton. Louis Allen, your championship leader, is back at the pack last with damage.
He is indeed, and Dan, do you hear the bells? They're ringing because it's round 2 between Argent and Lucas Roth. Down the hanger straight, we saw a cracking fight between these two in race 1, and then now get to have a second squabble at it in race 2. And it is gloves off, you feel for sure, between these two. Argent didn't seem to have the best qualifying lap, but my, does he have some good race pace in this Bentley tonight. And I have to say, it's the bigger cars that look the better cars tonight.
Yeah, obviously they're a lot heavier, the weight keeps the car down, the lighter car seems to be struggling, so the likes of the BMW, the McLaren, the Bentley all look good, the Lexus looks fairly decent, as does the Mercedes in the background, but the Porsche, the Honda and the Aston Martin just seems to be struggling at the minute, especially the Ferrari as well as Hypertech, although the Ferrari was very strong in the hands of the boys in the AM category.
It was indeed, as Lucas Roth now has just managed to pull away from Argent a little bit. We drop down the order. PN Motorsport has got his teammate DJ Phil on the back of him, and they're both on the rear end of Smithy, or trying to get on the rear end of Smithy, because it's actually Daz who's looking up the inside of Smithy now. So he had a moment himself at Maggots Beckett's. He's now trying to reclaw some points back in this second race. He's to the outside through the loop. That's going to give Smithy a bit of a better run through there, and it does indeed. But Daz through Aintree, right on the back of Smithy now. A great run through Aintree, down the Wellington Straight. You just imagine Daz is going to pull out in a minute, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 line of stern as they come down the Wellington Straight in towards Brooklands and Luffield, and Smithy breaks earlier, turns in later. Daz gets the job done.
I was just watching X-Fake Silent just now, and he had that big wiggle as he went onto the Wellington Straight. So he was struggling ever so slightly, but he has managed to keep it facing the right way. Sekulovic has brought the gap back down to Smokey Devil. It's now within 9/10. While the rest of the leaders are all spread out, as Argent's going to try and set it into Maggots and Beckett's, but thinks better of it at this stage. Meanwhile, X-Fake Silent is on the rear wing of the Lexus as well, so there's two fights that are quite close. Monkey Boy is now coming into that fight as well, but it's Lucas Roth versus Argent is the main fight, and Argent has had a decent run there.
He has had a decent run down the hanger straight. You have a feeling down here that what Argent is doing is he's being a bit more patient than race 1 because he's got a bit longer. The problem is Sutty Apex is getting away out front, while Tibbs can't seem to keep with Sekulovic, who looks like he's coming back at Smokey Devil. Sutty is coming. Argent gets a mighty run through Stowe. My God, that was a good run. And now looks up the inside into Vale. Just not close enough.
The Porsche, I think, is better on the brakes. It's able to... Keith is probably able to use the brakes better.
Sekulovic is, X-Fake Silent has just tapped the rear of Bryn. He waits for Bryn to get back going, but that has gifted Monkey Boy 2 places. He needs them 2 places after a disastrous race 1. And X-Fake there just tapping Bryn around, patiently waited for him, and they both rejoin the track, only losing out to Monkey Boy.
Yeah, so as we saw, Lucas Roth is able to use the trail braking tactic, brake and lift off the brakes so the car can turn, and the Porsche could do that a lot better than the Bentley. But you can see the Bentley's got so much better traction than the Porsche and is able to stick to the back of him, but he's going to have the top speed as well, but it's not going to be a long enough straight. Keegs is going to be defending for his life. But the longer and longer Argent sits behind that Porsche, the more and more Keegs will be learning and understanding what that Bentley's doing and where Argent is strong and weak, and he'll become predictable.
One man who's absolutely flying at the minute, Dan, is Daz Automatic. He's left Smithy in his dust and he's now gaining on the back of Hypertech here. He's within 9/10 of a second of Hypertech as they're coming towards Brooklands, and it is a great fight further behind where Smithy is. It's PN and DJ Phil trying to get on the back of these, and Louis Allen clearly struggling with some damage as PN very wide at Brooklands there, as was DJ Phil. They followed each other through that section of the track, and that is not what you want to do. Meanwhile, further forward ahead of Hypertech and Daz Automatic, it's Monkey Boy, Bryn and X-Fake Silent. 3 for this position, all coming into Cop's corner, and a great little scrap everywhere you look tonight, Dan. There is battles happening.
Yeah, indeed, and more importantly, Tibbs has brought the gap down to the top 2. He's within 8/10 of Sekulovic, so it's not just a fight for the lead now, it's a fight for second and third. Tibbs is on a flyer right now. They've just dropped Sutty ever so slightly, but the Keegs and Argent fight seems to have eased off. It's more about Bryn and Monkey Boy and X8 Silent at the minute, as meanwhile Daz is really hustling the back of the Ferrari.
He really is. Just gone back to Argent because he was at Stowe. He got an almighty run through there last time. A bit of an average run this time. And Daz isn't just hustling the back of Hypertech. I've just changed to them. Daz is past Hypertech. 3.5 off the fight of Monkey Boy, Bryn and X8 Silent. So this, you'd imagine, will give Daz an opportunity to get on the bike.
Argent's had a moment.
Oh, where?
I'm not sure where. He's lost it, I think, at maybe Stowe or Vale, but he's lost a lot of time to Lucas Roth.
He has indeed, because there's Monkey Boy in the background and X-Fate and Bryn, and as he comes in towards Abbey, Daz appears on the back of his screen. So Argent may be making one mistake. What I was about to say is that. The pit window opens. Nobody has passed it this time around. The gap out front is 8 tenths, Smokey to Sekulovic, 9th, 10th and back to Tibbs. And Sutty cannot keep with the top three. He's lost time.
He has indeed. Track temperature is at 25 degrees. The setting is damp at the minute. So right now, the top three are enjoying these conditions and pulling away from the rest of the pack. Sutty Apex, we're doing a typical Sutty tactic and just wait and pray for something to happen. The top three are close. Meanwhile,
Sekulovic!
Right on the back of Bryn.
Apologies, Sekulovic has had a moment in Brooklands and Luffield. He's lost out to Sutty and to Tibbs. Sutty is pitted. Sekulovic follows him in. Lucas Roth stays out. Didn't see what happened to Sekulovic. I was watching for Smokey Devil to see if he boxed, and Sekulovic didn't come through Luffield. So Sekulovic loses out. Monkey Boy in the pits, as is Bryn and X-Fate. So a lot of drivers diving straight in. Daz and Hypertech stay out. So Sekulovic here has possibly thrown away a podium. He now needs a good pit stop.
Oh! X-Fate Silent has hit Bryn as they came into the pits, and now we got a roadblock in the pit lane. So he's hit the rear of Bryn, and Bryn's trying to turn the car around. Smithy now returns to the scene. Oh, this is absolute chaos in the pit lane.
DJ Phil's coming in as well, so they've got to be careful. Rear-ended in the pit lane. Memories?
No comment.
Bryn is sideways. Bryn can't move. DJ Phil's got nowhere to go. Bryn is reversing and going forwards, and every time Bryn bounces off the wall, it's causing that little bit more damage to his Lexus. DJ Phil, oh, this is ruining his race. He's just sat there. He can't get past Bryn as Bryn's trying to get it turned around. No fault of Bryn's. Bryn now is able to get the car going, and Sutty's already away, as is Sekulovic, but Sutty stays in front of Sekulovic now. So that is Bryn and DJ Phil's race ruined, you say?
Oh, definitely. So what Bryn needed to do at that point was select neutral, rev it as hard as he dares, and then release the gear so they could get the rear end to move, especially in these wet conditions. Their traction control would be set as high as they possibly can. But if he had set neutral, revved it so hard, the rear would have spun round and at least got him facing the right way. But Bryn, bad luck there, hit in the rear by X-Fate Silent, and that was it. He was facing basically the wall.
He was facing the wall there then, so it's not what he'd have wanted in this one at all. As Smokey Devil comes into Brooklands and Luffield now, Bryn and Phil are stationary. They've got to repair damage as well, I'd imagine. What's happened, Dan?
Aintree, Argent had the biggest slide. Oh my god, it was almost as bad as my slide in Arezia. How he saved that, I do not know.
Well, Tibbs and Smokey Devil have stayed out of the pits. Argent just starting to make mistakes. It's losing out to Lucas Roth here. Is it maybe worth him getting in the pits and getting them tyres off? He looks like he's got damage on his car, so maybe repair the damage. He stays out once again. Lucas Roth is now in. Daz, what will he do? Because all of a sudden, Daz is gaining on the back of Argent.
I'm sorry, but Lucas Roth came flying into the pits, and the car was sideways as he came in. He was struggling to get the car stopped, but he is on. He's in pit lane, but Daz is currently looking to try and catch up. So these guys seem more slippery in these conditions.
I was just about to say, PN Motorsport's come out to Luffield and got the rear end right out over the curb. And I'll tell you what, he's done well to hold that, especially considering he's on the pad. Bryn and DJ Phil are out the pits. You feel their race is done. But the leader is Smokey Devil, currently from Tibbs. Argent will be P3 when he crosses that sector timing screen, which will put Daz into P4. Lucas Roth obviously stationary in the pits. Now, interesting, Sutty is coming through Luffield now. He's on the exit of Luffield, as is Sekulovic. Keegs was behind the pair of these two in this race. Sekulovic obviously had his spin. Sekulovic is now there. There's Sutty. Where is Lucas Roth? He's off the limiter now. Sutty's through. Sekulovic will be through easy as well. So Keegs comes out back behind them two.
Yeah, so Key's slowly working his way to the back of these guys, but he's gonna have to hope for something to happen here. But his main aim is to make sure he can try and jump Argent if he possibly can. But right now, I just had a quick look at the lap times, and Smokey and Exit Tips are just trailing one another. They're just separating each other from different lap times. At the minute, it's one goes one way with 2 tenths ahead, and then it's the other way around. So Tibbs is sticking with Smokey. So Smokey has a mistake. The young American of Tibbs could possibly pounce on the Scottish driver of Smokey Devil.
Indeed, he could, as Argent's 50th podium actually puts him 2 podiums behind Andy on this list. But it's Smokey who stays out. Tibbs is going to stay out as well. Argent 15 seconds behind these now. Is Argent thinking of going longer like he did race 1 than Keegs and maybe get the jump on Keegs in the pits? He was, though, a lot further behind before this pit stop.
Well, we are on the halfway stage. A lot of these guys will now want to get to this stage, so they have an even spread of tyres. Some might want to go further and try and get the better run out of the tyres in the last half of the race, but either way, Smokey Devil and Tibbs are just matching one another, and they're doing consistent 207s at the minute. So these guys are looking very good out the front, as Daz is now into the pits. Will he repair the damage? Hypertech's in. He didn't repair the damage last time out, and that benefited him.
He did indeed. Pian as well as came into the pit lane, and we're just watching Louis Allen come round, so it's going to be interesting to see that. Though Louis Allen stays out 4.5 minutes just under left of this pit window, and it's great to see here. Right, Daz Automatic was charging onto the back of Argent, who was not far behind Keegs. Sutty's just outbraked himself. He's pulling away from Sekulovic, but will Daz come out ahead of Keegs? Keegs is actually a lot closer to the back of Sekulovic than what I expected him to be. So Keegs clearly having a better second half of the race. Maybe has upped his tyre pressures. I wonder if Keegs had changed his pressures for the wet qualifying, and with it being for the wet qualifying, with it being damp, has either overinflated or just slightly underinflated his pressures with having to change them. But either way, since his pit stop, he looks a lot quicker as Daz still in the pits. They've all jumped in. Where's Monkey Boy? Monkey Boy may get the jump on Daz here as well.
Oh, looks like Daz is repairing the damage. Hypertech didn't, so he's going to come back out. Daz is now on his way out, and I think that damage is repaired. Yes, it is. So Daz has repaired the car, so he should be technically a little bit quicker now. But how much is that going to cost him? Because he's got to try and clear cars. As Tibbs has had a moment. It's 5.1 now, the gap between him and Smokey.
And Smithy has jumped PN Motorsport in the pit lane then. Where is X-Fate Silent? Here he comes as PN exits the pit lane. Very tentatively, it has to be said there for PN. He didn't really come out of the pits. All guns blazing there, and he loses out to X-Fate as well. I think he would have stayed ahead of X-Fate Silent had he not been a bit tentative, as X-Fate, a lot of curb at Maggots and Beckett's. Tibbs is now in. Smokey is now in. Will Argent risk that extra lap? He's got plenty of time. Under 2 minute 10 a lap is 2 minute 7, 2 minute 8 a lap time here. He's got 2:48. He is doing the extra lap here. And I wonder if that is strategically, because he didn't do that last time, I wonder if that's a tactic from Argent to get the extra lap in as we are awaiting that. Only Louis Allen and Argent left to pit.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because obviously he's going to be carrying that damage with him. He's not going to be at full performance. The only reason you would want to go long is obviously to make sure you stayed out of trouble. Most of the guys have probably cleared most cars now, and they're back into trying to get themselves in the zone. The only way this would work is you're your lead car. If you look back to Zandvoort, that's the option that I chose to do. Leading the way, everyone chose to pit, and they tripped over one another, and I managed to come into the pits and stay ahead. So it really works more if you're at the front, not if you're trying to chase. So I think Argent at the minute he's fighting a losing battle in a minute, but Louis Allen also opting to do the same. Try and optimize as much as you can, but the damage I think is going to hurt these guys because all the other cars are going to be fresh and ready to go. As Smokey comes out, as does Exit Tibbs, and Sutty Apex is going to be close with Tibbs, very close I think.
I think Switch Apex might get the jump on Tibbs. They're side by side pretty much as Tibbs comes out of the pit lane. Doesn't cross the pit line. Sutty looking to have a look, but is a lot closer to Tibbs. So whatever Tibbs did, it has gone horribly wrong and has cost him a lot of time. So it is Argent and Louis Allen who have got to pit this lap. They are going long. Daz has got ahead of Hypertech this lap and is 10 seconds off the back of Monkey Boy. Yeah, interesting battle at the minute. You have to say, though, with 10 minutes left, is Louis and Argent going to repair the damage? Is there much point when you've ran 20 minutes of the race with that damage or with some form of damage? Is there much point for the last 10 minutes? You may as well come in, do the 30-second pit stop and go.
Or if they do repair the damage, then it's just this whole tactic is a waste of time.
Yeah.
You might as well just come in, do the pit stop, get the fresh tyres on, and just hope and pray, basically, is what I would be doing right now. Making sure that all the settings are correct. Louis Allen's going to be very tight with the pit window. Very tight.
He is indeed. So Kieran comes out of Luffield now, and into the pits comes Kieran Argent. Louis Allen, 35 seconds left. You've got to be in the pit lane before the timer runs out. Now, that is not pit entry. As we know from a discussion in the season, pit entry and pit lane are two very different things. That was more a white line discussion. This is now for the pit window. If he is in the pit window, while the window is open, he will be fine. But he has got 14 seconds to get over that line to say he's in the pits. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Has Louis Allen just done it wrong here? He's got to get it slowed down. He's got to get it in. It's bounced off the wall. He's in. He's in. But that could be speeding.
Oh, God, what is that cost? Was it really the risk? He's the championship leader. Did he have to risk it? Meanwhile, Sutty Apex is he's in the middle of a McLaren sandwich. He's got exit tips in front of him. He doesn't seem to be quite up to speed and pressure. He's got Sekulovic hunting him down, who's got a penalty hanging over his head for not obeying to the qualifying ban. And right now, Sekulovic is hustling the back of Sutty Apex. But Louis Allen, did he need to risk it? He's the championship leader.
He didn't, and I tell you what, someone else who's lost that is Kieran Argent, because Keegs has gone past by a mile. Here comes Monkey Boy.
He's repaired the damage.
Argent, I think he has. He's had a longer pit stop, so his strategy has gone right out the window as well, as Monkey Boy tucks back behind Argent, but is closer now. So it's Smoky Devil from then. Exit Tibbs, with Sutty Apex having to attack and defend. The hunter and the hunted is Sutty Apex at the moment.
Yes, Argent has repaired the damage. I said Sergeant, and I thought I was talking
Sergeant,
F1.
yeah.
But no, Argent has repaired the damage. Why? How long would a stop would that been? Let's say it was like 10 or let's say it was 10 seconds. He would have been ahead of Lucas Roth. So why has he repaired the damage? I don't understand it. I don't get with only like 10 minutes left to go. Yeah,
when you're overcutting a driver, Dan, you have to really overcut him. What's happened?
When it rains, it pours. Louis Allen, he hasn't confirmed. Obviously, he hasn't done it. He was just out of the pit window. So Louis Allen's race, it's gone from bad to worse. He's just passed Smithy, but he's going to drop to the back of the pack. He's gone wide as well.
He's going to drop to the back of the pack. That is a 130-second time penalty. He didn't get a stop go, so he wasn't speeding. The one thing as well, Dan, is when you overcut a driver, you have to commit to the overcut and go not one lap longer, but a couple of laps longer. Argent ticked that box. What he didn't then do was he didn't not repair his damage. If he felt like he had pace, he should have not repaired any damage he had and kept it going. Tibbs at the moment looks like he's got his tyres back up to pressure because he's pulled away from Sutty Apex, and Sutty is really being pressured by Sekulovic at the moment. If we go back to X-Fate Silent, he's now on the back of Smithy. He pulls to the outside. He's got PR Motorsport with him as well. And X-Fate round the outside of Village. He's going to have the inside for the loop. That is a good move from X-Fate.
That's classic textbook move there here at Silverstone, but Smithy has got a better exit, better traction on the marbles there, will get the better grip, but Silent will hang on to that one, and PN is just behind them as well, so good little scrap here. But Louis Allen, with obviously damage to his car, he'll be carrying that. But was there any risk for that?
No.
You just want to score points, and now where we were saying he was being consistent and being in the top 8, this one's going to be a 15th place. Because he'll have to drop to the back of the pack.
A 15th place, and the problem is as well is Tibbs is currently sat in 2nd place, so it's a big haul of points where the drivers will change over that. 2nd place, you score 23 points. For 15th, you score 6. So that is a 17-point swing, and when you're only 25 points in the lead, well, the gap comes under 10, and all of a sudden, with 4 races left after this one, 102 points left after this one, you start to think maybe what will happen. Obviously, penalties that stewards will have to investigate in both races may happen at the end of the night. So he may get bumped up a few places here, but Louis Allen, his night is ruined. That, though, gives Bryn and DJ Phil an extra place.
Well, Silent has actually got ahead of Louis Allen now, so it's even going from bad to worse now. The Mercedes going ahead of the Honda. He's even got PN and Smithy hunting him down, so it's really been Louis Allen's race to throw away here, and he's really given Tibbs a great opportunity to score some decent points. The only thing that Louis can hope now is that Tibbs comes under pressure from the likes of Sati Apex and Sekulovic, but Sekulovic has dropped off of Sati. Will we see this end it from Sati towards the end of this race with only 6 minutes left really of this race to go? Sati Apex is hunting him down.
He is hunting him down. I'm just currently watching PS Motorsport at the moment, who's on the back of Louis Allen, and Louis Allen's Honda with that damage just looks a handful at the moment. And PS Motorsport, who has struggled, he said himself, he struggled in the Aston Martin, currently looks like he's got a good bit of pace and could hunt down Louis Allen for a 12th place.
Pitted. Oh no, he hasn't. He's had a moment. Tibbs has lost the rear end. He's gone over the grass, and Sati Apex takes second place.
Takes second place.
Now attacking.
And now Sekulovic attacks, but with that penalty hanging over Sekulovic, Tibbs then down to 4th, and all of a sudden Louis Allen's gap of possibly under 10 points may extend back up to 10 points. So what has happened to Tibbs then? Made a mistake earlier when he was catching Smokey. I tell you what, I don't care what anybody says, I have my driver of the day, because I didn't expect Smokey to be this good. I'm going to say it now, Smokey Devil has been fantastic.
Oh, I'm going to leave mine lingering for a minute. But either way, it has been a fantastic drive from the BMW driver of Smoky Devil. He has just dominated it here at Silverstone. Sati Apex is now up into P2. And again, solid points for Sati Apex in the wet conditions once again. But Lucas Roth has been fantastic in that Porsche as well.
He's been great tonight, just missed out on 2 podiums, and you feel that Lucas there just didn't have the edge to get onto the podium tonight. And this Sutty, I believe, is possibly his last races of the season. He's on holiday next week, maybe back just in time for Hungaroring, but he said he's not fully sure about the Hungaroring at the moment in terms of when he's back off of his holiday, in terms of travel time to get back. So for Sutty Apex, it could be his last race of the season, so to go out with a second place at the he would have wanted. Back down to Pien and Louis Allen. Pien is right on the back of Louis out of Chapel.
He is indeed, and I think Louis is just he's fighting a losing fight right now. It's just with the penalty lingering over his head, he might as well just get to the end and finish the race, because no matter what's going to happen, he's going to get that time penalty added to him at the end of the race. There's nothing really he can do, but either way, Louis is possibly losing another place there. But he's losing this championship to Tibbs. But Tibbs has had his moments. So right now, Sati Apex is hanging in there for P2. Can Tibbs get those 2 cards back before the end of the race? That's the question.
Yeah, Pien got the move done on Louis Allen there, so it was a good move into Stowe. And Smithy's not a million miles away, you know, to get himself a 12th place at the moment. Monkey Boy, within a second and a half for Argent. Whatever worked for Argent in race 1, it hasn't in race 2. It was possibly the strategy, but he's not had the pace in the second half of the race. Tibbs is out on the back of Sekulovic, who, if you remember in race 1, his car just seemed to die at the end. It just seemed to not react how he wanted it to, and he was making mistakes. So bonus for Sutty in terms of Sutty pulling away, potentially a bonus for Tibbs if he wants to get back on that podium.
I mean, Sekulovic is already looking twitchy between Maggots and Beckett's, and right now Sati Apex will be happy to see that McLaren twitching, but Tibbs will really want to be hunting him down at the minute. Just only 1 lap to go, I reckon, after this one. So yeah, it's coming to the end of this race, and right now Smoky Devil is really starting to get himself back into this championship fight with 2 wins to his name. Will that be 3 in total this season already? So Smoky Devil having a fantastic round here at Silverstone.
He is indeed. He's absolutely flying 9.5 in front. Monkey Boy's now within a second of Argent. So Monkey Boy just getting that little closer to Kieran Argent here as Smithy and Louis Allen are back ahead of PM Motorsport. So I'm not sure what's happened to PM, but he's dropped behind Smithy and Louis Allen. Where is Bryn in terms of sector times? He's a full sector behind. So that is the end of Bryn's race pretty much. P14. He should be P13 though, with Louis Allen's penalty coming his way. But it's Argent who is now struggling, and Monkey Boy's gaining on him. It is 9/10 of a second at the moment as the second, third and fourth still try and get closer to each other and fight. That's pretty much in no man's land this second race.
Yeah, no real. I think really qualifying hurt Daz.
Yeah,
he really needed to get a lap time on the board, avoid trouble, but he's ended up in that fight earlier on, and it's really hurt him quite bad. Sekulovic has lost a little bit of time to Sati Apex. Tibbs has lost more time to Sekulovic. I think Tibbs now starting to struggle. So everyone's now starting to get to that phase of the race where they can't quite do any more than what they can at the minute, but the 66 at the minute of PN is getting closer and closer to Smithy. That is the closest fight on track right now.
Now, Monkey Boy had a poor middle sector because he is the one that really struggled in that middle sector. He's lost 7/10 of a second to Origin. And like you say, PN and Smithy, the closest fight on the track at the moment. And it is PN Motorsport who is right on the back as he's looking for a move here on Smithy. Smithy's had a cracking night tonight, an 8th and a 12th at the moment. He's probably going to be 11th, but because of Louis Allen's penalty coming his way, you have to say Smithy has been fantastic once again in the wet.
Yeah, Smithy in the wet conditions. Everyone else causing, having some problems, having some issues. Smithy has been able to just keep it on track, keep it facing the right way, and he's able to score some decent points. And right now, PN and Smithy are going at it, the two pad boys at the minute in the Porsche 911, the Aston Martin as well. Who's going to come out on top? Germany versus Britain. We're back to World War again, and I think at the minute the Porsche has got the edge over the Aston, but I think PN will pounce when he gets a chance.
1966, England 4, Germany 2 in the World Cup final. Well, it's not 4-2 tonight, but it could be.
Hamilton versus Schumacher?
Hamilton versus Rosberg, Hamilton versus Vettel all them years ago as well. It could be, though. Aston Martin for 12th and Smithy for 13th. PN Motorsport has said that the Aston Martin hasn't been a friend to him all season, but he's really giving it some out there and he's really putting the pressure on. It's great to see PN really attacking drivers tonight.
Yeah, that Aston Martin, when set up really well, it's actually quite a decent car. I reckon it could be definitely a pro car as well, but at the minute, it's hustling at the back of Smithy right now. But we go to the leader. Smokey Devil is into the final corner, and he's about to win another race here tonight with Skulovic really pressurising Sutty to the end.
He is indeed. Smokey Devil, he's going to make it 2 from 2 on British soil. The Scotsman makes it his 3rd win of the season, and he's really putting his name in this championship standings. Sutty Apex is going to come home for a 2nd place for the time being provisionally. Sekulovic will be a P3, but we reckon there is a penalty hanging over his name. Tibbs is going to cross the line for P4. Good race from Tibbs. Lucas Roth, a.k.a. Keegs, is going to be P5, a 4th and a 5th, him and Tibbs tonight. That's solid points for him. Argent, not the podium like race 1, but it's 6th place. It's still good points in the bag as Monkey Boy will come back to cross 7th place. Great to see him back on the track. Great to see him score some points. Daz Automatic is then going to finish in P8. Hypertech is then the next one to come to the end. He will be P9. He's got a bit of a gap to X-Fate Silent, but Hypertech race 1, good strategy. Got him up the order. Race 2, bit quiet.
Yeah, he's not really repaired that damage either, and he's just mind his own business. P9 at the minute, not really what he would have wanted. And the same with X-Fate Silent, a little bit of trouble earlier on, and he did look good in the pack earlier on, but it's just not worked out for him. Louis Allen, though, with that penalty now adding to the line, 130 seconds, he's going to drop to the back of the pack. That is going to really affect his championship lead, especially when he has not got a win to his name at the minute.
It is indeed, and PN actually got past Smithy. Yeah, PN got past Smithy at the very end. So for PN Motorsport here, it is a job well done for him. That'll be at least P11 because Louis Allen will drop down, and we believe that DJ Phil will get 14th and Bryn will get 15th. That'll update when the screen changes as a driver leaves. That is Sekulovic. We do urge all drivers to stay until the end to get the final race results so that we don't have to go to the timetables part. But here comes Bryn then for a P13. Obviously the incident in the pits, the big one that cost Bryn. DJ Phil will be P14. And if we look at that, yes, look, Louis Allen 83 seconds behind DJ Phil at the end of the race. Dan, if Smokey Devil and Sutty Apex can get in, I believe Tibbs doesn't have a headset at the moment, and Sekulovic obviously penalty hanging over him. He's left the lobby, so he's probably done for the night. So Smokey and Sutty here is can they come in? Dan, final thoughts and driver of the day, please.
Once again, the British track of Silverstone producing some great racing here, some awesome driving, but it has been the BMW that's been so dominant here tonight. Smokey Devil has gone on and absolutely wiped the floor with these guys. No one was anywhere near his pace here tonight, and pretty much a grand slam. He's took pole position, 2 race wins. What more could you want from him? And again, for me, he has to be driver of the day. Honourable mentions to Lucas Roth and Argent as well for race 1, and Slightly Apex for race 2. But yeah, fantastic job from Smoky Devil. He has just absolutely nailed it tonight.
And obviously, Dan, just finally from yourself, you are in the box tomorrow night. We look forward to the Pro Series. We're expecting some more dramas tomorrow night. Obviously, Ripper looks like he's walking away with the championship, but there's a good fight for second place between, if I look at the table here, myself, Breeze, Peaceful Explosion, Killer Camel, Overtaker, and Wolfinator in that fight. So there's a good fight for second place in the championship.
Oh, yeah, definitely so. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night as we do have all the pros on the track, the fastest of them all. What can they do in these wet conditions here at Silverstone? Is it going to be this wet, or is it going to be even wetter for the AMs as well? So keep an eye on that one as well. I will be having it will be a father-son duo tomorrow night, as Kelly Davis is going to be a special guest tomorrow, joining me in the commentary box as I'll be leading the show with Kelly Davis joining me alongside. And like I said, keep an eye on how we get on tomorrow night. Ripper in practice has been looking very, very fast, but the Bentleys of Matt and a few others could probably try and give him a hard time. But Breeze as well, can he keep his hold on second place in the championship? Make sure you tune in tomorrow night as they will tackle the British circuit of Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, as we now have the top two in with us in the commentary box.
We do indeed, and we'll first of all start with Sooty Apex, who, Sooty, we believe that is your last race of the season. You're not sure about Hungary, but it was a good last race and a good P2.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was like, congratulate Smokey, I had no on him, didn't have the pace at all. Yeah, it was good, worked hard for it, to be fair. The Bentley, I don't know if it was just my setup, just didn't feel very nice. It seemed to get better with lighter fuel load, but when it had the heavy, it just wasn't nice at all. But I'll take P2.
P2, talk us through race 1, because it was not your race at all in that one, and you looked like you struggled a little bit.
Well, I said I was due one, and I had it. So yeah, I got tangled up in turn 1. I tried to avoid another carnage, and I think I just got a little knock up the rear. I went off, and then I had the move when I got the run up on the Wellington straight. I went obviously on the inside, I went deep, and then Daz, I don't know if he broke or whether he understeered, and I just ended up on the grass. It's just one of them things.
One of them things, but a good night to end it. Obviously, potentially the last race of the season, but it's been a good season from yourself. A learning curve in the Bentley, and if this is your last race, do you think the Bentley is a car you'll stay with next season?
I think so, yeah. I think we're gelling with the Bentley. My dry pace, I need to work on my dry pace on my setups because I'm still a bit slow. Wet, it seems to favour the wetter conditions, my setups. When it's damp, it's not so good. But I think I can work on it, so I think I can only get quicker, to be fair.
Well, Sooty, fantastic race for P2. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, and you.
We speak with Smoky Devil. It looks like it's going to be a pole position because Sekulovic shouldn't have qualified. It was a race 1 win. It was a race 2 win. It's a Grand Slam. That is the night of all nights. 2 race wins, and I'm looking at the tables now. This is before penalties come into play. You're 20 points off the championship lead. You're 8 points off of Tibbs. You are right back in this championship fight. Second race of the night. It was an easy start, really, up the inside at Cops, where you apparently can't overtake, and it was job done. Really, you didn't have to look behind you for the rest of the race. Laguna Seca, though, next week. You will be here for that, unlike Sooty Apex. Can the BMW go again, make it 3 or 4 wins from 4? You're on a run at the moment of 5 podiums in 6 races. Can you carry on that momentum, especially now there's a big championship fight ahead? Well, Smokey, congratulations. You've got Dan's vote to driver of the day and you've got mine as well. In the live stream, well, 6 votes, 100% Smokey Devil. They've all thought you've been fantastic tonight. Smokey, a clean sweep, 2 race wins, pole position and 2 drivers of the day. Dan, it's been a cracking night. We can't wait to hear from you tomorrow. We'll be back live 8 p.m. UK time for the pros around Silverstone. And then Porsche Cup will return at Alton Park on Sunday evening, 8 p.m. UK time as well. The Am Boys will be back next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. UK time from Laguna Seca as we head to California, where I checked the weather earlier. And you may think California, it'll be beautifully and warm. It doesn't look that way at the moment. Pro-Am will be back live next week as well for Laguna Seca. That is all we have time for, though. It's a clean sweep, not only for the BMW, but for Smokey Devil himself. We've been SimPlay Motorsport. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Good night.
Good night.
We've been SimPlay Motorsport.
Freedom, I never had the chance to run. Leave behind the said and done. Figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of something more. So I think I found a new way out, way beyond a shadow of doubt. 'Cause I can't breathe. And I guess I could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But I'm doing this for me. Give it up, baby, I'm not fooling anyone. Always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow of doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again, so we can fly again. So we can fly again. is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 Oh, we can fly again.
Atomic particles traveling near the speed of light do decay more slowly than stationary particles. As strange and counterintuitive as it seems, time dilation is a law of nature. Traveling close to the speed of light is a kind of elixir of life. Because time slows down close to the speed of light, special relativity provides us with a means of going to the stars.